I think he's a Fed.
I believe he needs help.
Hitler was a Rothschild.
I might be wrong, but I'm not lying.
And we got approached by Freemasons. He came up, he showed us his ring, and he's like, we'd like to talk to you at the lodge. And we're like, we're good. Not happening. Viruses aren't real. They don't exist. They've never been proven ever in the history of time. AIDS isn't real. Monkeypox isn't real. Herpes isn't real. None of it's real, dude. None of it exists. World War III, Civil War, AI destruction, the end of days all at one time. It's like, how lucky are we, dude?
Okay, so what's the point of waking up every morning then?
Now we're cooking. Everything is a magic trick. It's a spiritual war, man. I've been saying this for freaking ever, dude.
Please be more specific. Jesus or someone else?
That's the most real shit said on this show the whole time.
I want to start with this very interesting topic. I believe no one has ever asked you this question. I would love to hear about your health regimen. Bro, you're almost 500 years old and you look amazing.
Yeah, thank you, dude. You know what's so interesting? I had a guy come on my show named Gary the Numbers Guy. And he asked me for my birthday and all that stuff. And I didn't put it out, but you know, he asked me my birthday and he literally said, you will look much younger than your age for a very long time. Everyone will age around you a little quicker. I'm 53 years old. I don't know what it is. I'm also sober. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. So that helps. I get good sleep. I do work out. Which is funny because I didn't work out for a very long time. I do work out and I try to eat as good as I can. I have a girlfriend who I love and she just wants to make me fat. So we're in this constant battle, but I lift, I do jujitsu, I walk a lot. I'm chasing kids around constantly. Kids keep you young. And I just think that it's also some astrology stuff.
Yeah, but bro, but how's medieval England?
Listen, it's very interesting because I watch a lot of your clips, and it's like your show is great.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Blessings, dude. You're doing really well. I love your style. I love you have a kind of a similar thing that I do, which is kind of what Art Bell did back in the day. I don't know if you know who Art Bell is. He had a very famous conspiracy radio show. And I would listen to, later as I got into, I was always into conspiracies. But when, I started the show, everyone's like, oh, you remind me of Art Bell. So I would listen to Art Bell. And the thing that I learned about Art Bell is like, no matter how crazy the theory is that the caller was in, Art Bell would listen, right? He wouldn't check them. He'd go, okay, yeah, tell us about, oh, really? Why is that? So my show starts, I have another show. It falls off. I do another show. Me and the guy at the time had a falling out. We're cool now. And I was kind of thinking about starting a show, and I realized how much I loved conspiracies, always into conspiracies. My father raised me very paranoid. He used to, very early, my dad told me, don't believe anything what you hear and half what you see. Now it's like, don't believe anything. Yeah, my dad was an interesting guy. I mean, I'm very blessed. They always say, like, if you could come back and do it again, would you want the same parents? And I go 100%. I love my parents. They, nobody's perfect. And not once you have kids, you realize how hard it is to raise children because you're domesticating wild animals. That's really what they come into the world, a wild animal. And your job is to teach them how to function in society.
There are two types of people that are going to watch this episode. The first one is the people that already subscribe to my channel. And this is really a treat for you guys. We're having an OG of all conspiracy content on YouTube since day one. The one and only Sam Tripoli. So guys and gals, please show some love for Sam. Follow him on Instagram. Subscribe to his channel on YouTube. All the links are going to be in the description below. Also, please leave your comments below since this truly helps my YouTube channel grow. So every like and comment of yours truly help my channel grow. So please do that. The second type of people that are going to watch this episode are the ones that see me for the first time. Let me introduce myself in 10 seconds. My name is Apollo, not as a Greek god, lowercase g god, but shortened from Apollinaris. This is the name I got when I was baptized when I was 3 or 4 months old. I do content on YouTube for 3.5 years now, and on my channel you're gonna find a lot of content that you will definitely love. So please subscribe to my channel, and after watching this entire episode, please check out my other videos, since I am pretty sure you're gonna love it. And before we start, guys and gals, I need your help and I need your support. I'm planning on 2 trips to other states to film amazing content. So if you enjoy my podcast, if you enjoy the content and the guests that I bring on my show, please, I encourage you to consider supporting my channel by scanning this QR code or finding the link in the description below, and by simply buying me a coffee. Even $5 support truly helps me paying my bills, getting the best guests that I can, and bringing you the most value that I can via my YouTube. From the bottom of my heart, I would love to thank all of you that support me by subscribing, liking, sharing, and by buying me a coffee. Once again, scan this QR code if you would love to support my channel, or find the link in the description below. This truly, truly helps. And now, guys, without any further ado, let's get back to the podcast with the one and only, the OG, Sam Tripoli.
The whole thing is this: like, I let people talk, and I watch a lot of your shows, and there's some wild things said, which I love because I'm all about that. And I like how you just listen, and I think that's really great. So there's people out there that are like saying that I'm this Francis Bacon guy. Sir Francis Bacon. And they're just running with it, and I don't really care either way. It makes me laugh. I get mad when they try to say I'm like controlled opposition or anything, and they just really don't understand that the constant battle that's going on to keep the show relevant, because I'm literally like at Google, at Facebook, they got a picture of me on the wall and they just throw darts at it all day, because I can't get any traction anywhere. It's like I'm shadow banned. There's something called tombstone algorithms. Have you ever heard of that? No. Tombstone algorithms is like, so YouTube use conspiracy theorists to build their platform. Mm-hmm. And you kind of see
views.
Yeah, people are watching my friend's loose change on 9/11. Like those are the videos that people went to, which built YouTube. And then when YouTube got to a certain level, amount of viewers, they ran us all off. Mm-hmm. But when they did that, they allowed other platforms to thrive, like Rumble and Twitter. And now they're like, oh no, we're losing our marketplace. So now they're bringing them all back. But they don't forget the old conspiracy theorists. They're still mad at them. They're like, oh, we remember what you did to us.
But for what?
For changing the narrative. So I talk about this a lot on my show. There's some historical moments in our history that we all acknowledge, which is like 9/11, JFK assassination, Pearl Harbor. These are big moments in our history and our culture. But there's another moment that, in my heart of hearts, I believe had a huge impact on America, and that was Hillary Clinton kneecapping Bernie Sanders. And the reason this is a really big moment is because, for me, it was the first time that the elites said, no, this is what we're doing. And it was opposite of what the people wanted. And I have this joke, and comedians think it's funny, but like Bernie Sanders was putting, he was selling out arenas and stadiums, while Hillary Clinton was putting Sam Tripoli numbers into a cafeteria, right? And they were telling us that she was winning. And it was pretty obvious. And it was this push of the elites go, nope. This is who's going to get it. We don't care what you want. And if you kind of look at the internet, you're a young guy. If you kind of look at the internet was fire in 2015. Like, we didn't realize how good we had it. We were kings and we didn't even realize it. And then the Hillary Clinton situation comes, and that's when the censorship comes in. And that's where they start to, block or shadow ban people saying things that the elites didn't want us talking about.
Even in 2015 to 16?
2016, that's where Hillary's running against Trump. That's where Pizzagate comes in. Everyone's talking about Pizzagate. Q starts to become something. And there's this like kind of thirst for knowledge that the elites are acting like they don't want you to see. Later on, now we found out Jeffrey Epstein's a big part of Q and all that stuff, which, again, I've said it on a bunch of shows lately, but Q was Operation Trust. They wanted us to know all this because they wanted to corral all the conspiracy theorists into a corner and to pacify them. It's 100 Flowers in China. It's Operation Trust in Russia. They do that all the time. But they tell us what is really happening. That's the thing that people don't understand about Q. They always mock Q, but Q was literally telling you what was going on because they knew the paranoid people knew what was really happening. So they had to feed that into that. And if they gave us false information, we would just leave it. So they had to tell us what was going on.
Yeah, but come on, bro. They were saying that Hillary was executed, this guy was executed, this guy was executed, and these are clones that are operating on the stage. Come on.
What that part is to run off normies. Right?
Right.
So, you know, I mean, let's face it. You've had some people say I watch your clips. You've had some people say some 100%. Crazy stuff on here.
Right.
Clones.
Right.
People faking their own death.
Right.
All that, you know, this person's really this person. You know, Sam Tripoli is Sir Francis Bacon.
That wasn't said on my show.
No, I get that. But these are things that are said, and it's funny and fun, but they're distractions to me. They're I mean, like, yeah, there's probably clones. They've been cloning for hundreds of years. So are there human clones? 100%. But how does that fit into the spiritual war that we're in right now? And yeah, that is, you know, there's certain sins you can't come back from. You can't hurt children. You can't murder people.
On purpose.
On purpose, right? You can defend yourself, but you can't take a life on purpose. And then the last one is you can't bring life in to the world artificially, which is like Frankenstein, right? You can't create life like that. Those are the sins you can't come back from. So cloning is in that, and you know, this guy, but it's all distraction from what's really going on, which is a war on God. It's a war on God. There is a war right now trying to detach us from God, and it's been going on for decades. It's like we know they place corrupt people in politics. We know they place corrupt people in Hollywood, but we've never ever sat down and go, why are all these spiritual people of all religions, not just Catholics, like there's this narrative that's only the Catholics. It's literally every religion, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism all have corrupt people in corrupt places, and they're placed there to detach you from God.
I agree with you.
Yep, and that's the whole thing. And if you study our culture right now, the people who get farther from God are really have high anxiety, high mental illness, depression, all that stuff. The people who get closer to God are the people who seem to be vibrating on higher level. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't corrupt people who there aren't people doing crazy stuff that are religious people. I mean, obviously, I just said there was, but it's just like the closer you get to God, the lower your anxiety gets, the lower your depression gets, and that's all done on purpose. So they place these pedophile priests in all these positions, and then they bust them doing dark shit, and everyone blames God for it.
I agree. That's who I was, let's say, 5 years ago.
Yes.
I was blaming religion because I was thinking that religion equals God. And
yes.
I was like, I have nothing to do.
So the question I have to you is, who runs the realm that we live in?
So I'm a Satan's little season guy. I believe that Jesus has already returned, and we live in Satan's little season.
I find that I'm open-minded to it all. That we're in Satan's little season. It's definitely possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's 100% possible. But you're right. Satan runs the realm. It's in the Bible. They've talked about it before. Satan runs the realm. That's why all this darkness is happening. So, I'm in recovery. I'm sober. I don't do drugs or drink. And I always ask to speak at these recovery meetings. And I always tell them, it's like, a big part of recovery is understanding God and connecting with God. And I always say everything that you hate about religion is not the actions of God, but the actions of man. A man has done something. Religious wars, sex crimes, fraud, stealing, all that stuff is the actions of man, not the actions of God. And people need to come to grips with that. So going back to the original thing, clones, all that stuff, I'm fine with any of that. It's like they're fun. It's fun to talk about. But like in the big picture, like, is that what's really important to me? And I don't think it is. I think it is that there are people who worship dark entities that are doing the bidding of these fallen, the Watchers, and they're bringing crimes against humanity in the hopes of being chosen to come back as either an elite or a god themselves, a pagan god.
Okay, but have you ever entertained an idea that you might be a clone too? Just like that guy said that you might be the spirit that's been Francis Bacon.
Well, the problem I have with that is that Sir Francis Bacon was one of the smartest people to ever live. Started the Freemasons.
500 years have passed, bro.
Like I flunked first grade. Like what a downgrade that is from that to that. I mean, it's like really stupid. I mean, you'd have to ask my mom. I mean, she would have to be a part of this giant lie to perpetrate that,
Well, I believe that guy is saying that the spirit of that entity is traveling through the bodies. Yeah. The same guy says that I am Christian Bale. Yeah. I'm the freaking Batman.
Yeah, I mean, his whole thing, I think he's a fed.
I believe he needs help. That's for sure.
Well, within the conspiracy community, there are schizos, and that's okay because I love schizos. But he's playing
to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like there for the longest time there was this narrative that the progressive left eats itself alive. I think it's the conspiracy theorists eat themselves alive. Like we're always attacking each other over who's the real one. And like to me,
everyone is a fed.
Yeah, right. Everyone's a fed. He. The problem I have with him is he slanders people. Like he tries to destroy all their hard work by labeling them as artificial brands. And there's a lot of people who work really hard on their brand. They're getting knowledge out. Trying to understand what the world is, and he's slandering them. By saying that I'm part of a satanic cabal or I'm like I'm a what's the word I'm looking for? That I'm basically controlled opposition. He's slandering me, and he basically went after a good friend of mine and said that his dad faked his own death, and this guy's dad was like such a big part of his life, and a real one of the OGs of conspiracies, and he's been slandering my friend and slandering my friend's dad by saying that not only his dad, but his mother faked their deaths. And like, it's traumatized this kid. And like, the kid is a really good guy and he lost both his parents, and that's really hard for anybody. And now you got this crazy person trying to convince everybody that this guy is part of some fucking conspiracy to lie about his dad's death. Like,
and no proofs provided?
I don't, what proof does the guy ever have? Like, he goes, oh, look at this, look at it. And then he like zooms in on something like, oh, they have the same scar. Like, what the fuck? Like, he's like, this guy's got two eyes. This guy's got a nose. This guy's got a mouth. It's like, it's really stupid. And my whole thing is based off a drawing. He takes my picture and compares it to a drawing. Right? He's like, look at them. They both have bags under their eyes. It's like, dude, and I don't really even care. Like, you could say I'm Francis Bacon. I made a shirt about it. It's because it's so funny and stupid. But it's like, once you start trying to destroy somebody's hard work, okay, or when you insult somebody and say that someone that they love faked their own death, when those people were basically assassinated, like Rob Skiba was assassinated. Like, he was forced to be put on ventilators against his own wishes. And he spent 40 days in a hospital. His family couldn't even come see him. What he specifically said, I don't want to go on ventilators. They put him on ventilators and they killed him. And so this guy's going around and like pouring salt on people's wounds and just destroying everybody. So then everyone puts stuff out about him that he's like Timothy McVeigh. His wife is Terry Nichols. I don't like to go after people's families. But when this guy's going after my friend's dead parents, like to me, like it's no holds bar. And I think he's very dangerous.
Well, to me, he looks like Volkanovski.
Yeah, let's do it.
Tyler.
The weirdest thing is that
Hansen?
he's saying that I am.
No, what's his name? Tyler.
I don't even know. Just look, put up this
Fitness.
flat earther.
Flat Earther. So I told him that he's.
Like he just comes out of nowhere. And now he's huge, and he's just saying ridiculous stuff about people. And it's just sad, dude.
Same guy.
Yeah, Volkanovski.
Come on.
Yeah,
he's the
dude.
UFC champ. 2 times champ.
But what is he talking about that it really matters?
What? Right.
Like,
right.
we're in a spiritual war, and he's talking about clones.
Yeah, and he. So let's say he says he proves that I am Christian Bale and you're the Francis Bacon, right?
I've never been this close to Batman in my life.
I'm gonna send you a picture or something if you want. But what's next? Lead us to Jesus then, or lead others to Jesus.
Yes.
Then. He says that he's a Christian, but he doesn't preach. Bro, preach, Tyler, preach them.
Yeah,
us about
100%, dude. And it's like there's a war between dark entities trying to destroy God's greatest creation, and this guy's talking about clones. It's just like, I'm not saying there's not clones, but how does that affect my life?
Right.
I mean, okay, you're like, well, it's a lie, it's deception. But at the end of the day, how does that have to do with the fact that they're trying to shove no-hide laws down our throats? How the fact that Israel just combined with the U.S. military, which means they can tell our military where to go and what to do, because they don't want Israelis fighting these wars. They want Americans fighting these wars. They want Americans dying for their endless wars for New Babylon, which is what the Greater Israel Project is. The Greater Israel Project is Babylon.
Yeah, it's huge. So every time I see the picture,
Look up Greater Israel Project and look up Ancient Babylon. They're the exact same thing, except for Ancient Babylon goes higher to the north.
but this map is insane. It even touches Africa. There's no way they're going to Africa. There's no way they're gonna conquer Egypt.
They're already talking about going to war with them, and this is the whole thing.
Egypt?
Yeah, they've
For what
talked about
reason?
Turkey and Egypt. They want to go into Turkey and Egypt. So you look at Saudi Arabia, right? And you're like, why would the Saudis do that? And then you realize that the House of Saud is just basically a giant MI5 psyop, because the first king of the House of Saud was a British spy. He was installed into,
First Saudi Arabia king.
king.
Yeah, king.
And then look up
was-
British spy.
British spy. Yeah, well, let's see what it says. The first monarch and founder of the modern Saudi Arabia was not a British spy, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
rather he was an independent Arabian statesman and tribal leader who navigated complex alliances
There's
with the
books
British
written
Empire.
all about it. The British and Islam, the whole Middle East, all those borders are just straight up made by MI5.
Yeah, because at the time that was the empire.
And
Or
what they
something
did
per
was
se.
they put tribes that hated each other into the same country, so they never got along. And then they would take the ethnic minority and put them in charge.
That's what they did with India and Pakistan, right?
Well, dude, the Bank of England, which is also the Bank of International Settlements, is the most destructive evil force to ever reign in humanity. They destroyed India, they destroyed China, they destroyed Russia, and they destroyed Germany. And America is next. That's their goal. That's what they're working on right now, is destroying America. And they do it from the inside. And they just, I mean, like Mao is connected to the Rothschilds.
How?
they basically helped him write his book. I think it's called the Red Book.
The Red Book.
Yeah.
You know the story about the revolution? During the revolution, they were hitting other Chinese with the same book. That's why it's called the Red Book. Not because it's because of the communists, but because they were hitting other Chinese people with the book, and it was filled with blood.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is why it's called the Red Book.
I did not know that.
Not because of communism colors.
Well, you get into, so we get told, Israel didn't recognize the Armenian genocide up until a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the country that's built on the story of the Holocaust not recognizing the incredible death toll in Armenia? That is where the name genocide comes from.
What year was that? 1915?
Yep.
More than 2 million? How many?
No, I think it's like 1.5. My family was in the very interesting. My family was in the village of Vaughan. My great-great-grandfather watched his entire family get slaughtered, and he had to escape to America. So nobody talks about that. And then you get into who are the Young Turks, who are they really, and it's the same group everywhere causing chaos. It's like then you get into Hitler and who Hitler really was. Hitler was a Rothschild. Okay, his mother was a housekeeper of a Rothschild. Got pregnant, escaped. They paid Hitler's father to change his name, and Hitler was in Tavistock in 1913. There's a painting of him on a bridge, and they'll tell you that's a bullshit painting. It's not a bullshit painting.
What should I type in?
Look, Hitler, put in Hitler Tavistock painting.
Tavistock?
Yeah, spell it the best you can. Okay. Tavistock 1913 painting.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see him on there it is. Third row down.
Third row down.
Over. There it is. That's Hitler Hitler made that painting. And that's him sitting on a bridge in Tavistock in 1913.
And
Hess was also there. The reason Tavistock's very interesting and important to the story because Tavistock is where MK Ultra comes from. That's where it was started.
It's a location.
Tavistock is a city.
Where?
Will you look it up? Where is Tavistock located?
Tavistock location. That's England.
Yeah.
England, yes.
Yeah. That is where MK Ultra came from.
Not in the US. Not the CIA started it.
No.
In the 60s?
Dude, the Nazis are the CIA. It's like George Bush and
okay, we'll try.
Dulles.
Of course, it's a popular subject in the conspiracy theories. Of course. Then it means it's true.
Yeah. If AI tells you it's not, the best thing to do is with AI is find a fact that you know to be true and ask it and see if it tells you that's not true.
Bro, I'm going to show you one thing. You're going to freak out. Listen. So, FIFA matches today. That's Claude today. Friday, what is it? 26th. Yesterday, US played against Turkey, right? I'm asking who's playing today in World Cup. He says, okay. Now he says, watch, big storylines. USA eliminated, lost to Turkey. I was like, USA eliminated?
Yeah.
Eliminated? Yes, lost in the group stage. I was like, how is it possible? USA got 6 points and Turkey has 3. You're absolutely right. Let me reread the data.
Yeah, dude.
Bro,
yeah.
If you don't know the facts, you're screwed.
Yes, 100%. But that's the whole thing. Have you not know if you're coming or going?
Mm-hmm.
That's Trump. Trump is a chaos magician, dude. I'm telling you, bro, he's a chaos magician, and he's well versed in all the Babylonian magic, from Freemasonry to Jesuit to Kabbalah. It's all Babylonian. That's what it is, and they were sent off to kind of control different aspects of our society. It's all the same shit, dude.
Yeah, but what are they thinking of? They're thinking of restoring the Babylon and becoming what, gods?
100%. Listen, people can get mad at me, but the truth is the reason they hate Christianity and the reason they hate Christ is because Christ ended worshiping multiple gods, and Christ ended sacrifice, animal and children. And that's why they hate him. That's why they want to destroy him. That's why all these Babylonian magicians want to destroy Christ, is because he ended sacrifice to these gods. And I said this on JRE years ago. The old gods want to come out and play. They're tired of sitting in the back quietly. They want to come out, they want to be worshiped, and they want sacrifice. They want to sacrifice our kids. They want to sacrifice animals. Christ put an end to that. That's why Christianity blew up so much. And you got the people like, oh, Christianity, it's stupid. I'm just telling you. And if you even get into Judaism, like I just did a show last night about how the Torah is basically the operating manual of the matrix that we live in and how to survive it. And then you got this Talmud come in, and I have friends who read the Talmud who I love with all my heart. But the name of the Talmud is the Babylonian oral history of the rabbis.
There are two Talmuds, the Babylonian one and the other one.
Right. So that's an interesting point. I think a lot of people don't know that, including myself.
Yeah, but these people, friends of yours that read Talmud, do they prophesy? Do they profess what they read, or they just read the text as a?
Well, that's I try not to get into it because I love them and I don't want to get in fights with everybody. Like, it's like everyone's on their own path. I don't want to sit there and like burn bridges with everybody.
Yeah, until they cross the line.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's like even with all of these content creators, right? It's like, listen to what they have to say until they fake the funk on a nasty dunk, and then you catch them lying, then they're done to me. So I follow people, unless I know you on a personal level, and I know your character and who you are. Like I'm gonna hear what you have to say until you get something completely and utterly wrong, and then I'm out, and then I'm not gonna listen to you, and everything that comes out your mouth after that is completely tainted. But, the notion that everyone is controlled op and everything like that, that's all done on purpose. Now, there are people who are huge in our space that never get shadow banned. They don't get anything taken down. That's suspect.
Like who?
Candace Owens. I love Candace Owens. I think she's doing a great job, but she's saying stuff that I wouldn't be able to even come close. I'm not saying anything, but I'm like, it's interesting that you can talk about things that other people can't talk about.
Yeah, come on, but she's dick riding on every topic that is hot right now. She was dick riding on Charlie Kirk.
Well, she is the
and still is.
She's the female Alex Jones.
In the recent year, she became one.
Women listen to what she says. She is. You can tell how right somebody is based on if they were huge and now they're not huge. Right? I mean, her numbers keep going up. Mm-hmm. Ben Shapiro's numbers keep going down because Ben Shapiro has a blind spot and everyone knows he's full of shit. So that's why his numbers keep going down. That's why Mark Levin's numbers keep going down because they know he's lying and he's not telling the truth. But Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, you could be suspect and that's fine. I don't mind that. I mean, I think you should have, I even tell my fans, like, you should not just accept everything I say 100%. as the law. You should bring skepticism to everything you hear on my show, and you should decide for yourself whether I'm telling the truth or not. From my point of view, from me, I'm trying to tell the most truth I can. Mm-hmm. I'm very honest about my faults and everything like that. I learned this in recovery. You're only as sick as your secrets. So the more truth you talk about, the more people, everything's about authenticity right now.
I agree with you.
The more you're authentic, it's the highest vibrational energy. Eddie Bravo talks about it all the time. You go, he always goes, what's the highest vibrational energy? People always say love. He goes, nope, it's authenticity. Those who tell the truth vibrate on a higher level. So I try to tell the truth all the time, but I tell my listeners, question everything that comes out of my mouth or whatever the guest, and we've had guests on in the past that had a open door to come on anytime they wanted. They came on, they said something crazy. The listeners, I always say, man, you can say whatever you want on my show. I don't care. My whole thing is to make you look the best, to help you get across your research and your beliefs. That's my job. to get out of the way. And I've gotten better at interviewing people. Like, you're doing a great job. You're letting me just go, right? Early on, I would always be jumping in. And then people are like, shut up, dude, let him talk. I'm like, so I listen to the best of my abilities. You know, the only time I'll interrupt is if I think they said something important that we need to dive into. And like, if I don't grab it now, I'm going to forget about it because, you know, that's just my brain. But, you know, it's just like they've come on, they've said crazy stuff. And I always say, God have mercy on your soul in the comment section. You know, if you fake the funk, they're going to come, dude. And this guy got his ass kicked in the comment section. He blocked all of us on the show, called us Satanist. And, you know, and now he's going around on all these other shows saying the exact same stuff he was saying on my show 5 years ago, which is fine. We'd love to have him back. But and there's a couple guys like that just said stuff that the listeners didn't like, and they cursed our names after that. And so for me, it's like, I'm going to give you the purest stuff you can get, and you, the listener, have to decide whether you agree with it or not and stuff like that.
I like this quote. I might be wrong, but I'm not lying.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
That is the whole point. And I've been thinking a lot about that. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. Okay? Being wrong means you just weren't correct about what you said. And you can believe it and say it's wrong, and then people prove you wrong, and you're like, oh, I guess I was wrong. That's much different than lying.
On purpose.
Lying is you know, so a friend of mine, I'm friends with Joe Rogan, right? And there was this moment on his show where he was saying that he was in the forest when he found out Charlie Kirk had died. And the truth is, it was a big moment on his podcast. Now I'm very good friends with Joe. I think he just got it wrong. And people think he's lying. I go, well, my question is, what does he gain from the lie? What is the purpose? What does he get out of lying right there? Because a lie is like you're trying to manipulate to gain something.
And that's a meaningless lie.
Right? He just got it wrong. He just, like, you know, how many shows do you do a week?
2.
Okay. And you go, based on our conversation before, 2 to 3 hours. That's a lot of talking. And on top of that, you're surrounded by all this dirty energy. Like, people don't realize, like, we're not roofers. We're not doing like driveways or anything like that. It's not that kind of manual work, but you are surrounded by these lights, this energy from that book, the microphone. It's dirty energy.
I agree.
And it will affect you at some point. You will start to realize, you're like, oh man,
it's just too much.
I can't remember some things and stuff. It's like, it's dirty energy. So, I mean, Joe does 3 to 4 a week at 2 to 3 hours a time. So it will affect you. I know Joe. He misspoke. You know, there's no gain in that. He's not protecting anything. He's not gaining anything out of it. He's a human being. At the center of the Joe Rogan Experience, this giant juggernaut, this fucking locomotive. Sorry to swear. I know your kids are around, but the locomotive is a human being who, you know, has his strengths, his weaknesses, and he just got something wrong at that point.
Yeah, but do you remember the lie that Tucker Carlson was exposed by? He said he didn't know that his father was a CIA.
Right. That is different. What does he gain from that? He's trying to gain that people can trust him.
Right.
There's a gain.
He did not know his dad was a CIA agent.
Yeah, and he's on a million tapes saying that his dad was CIA. So that's a great example. What is the gain there? He's trying to come off as authentic. And when a lot of people, you know, he has the Kabbalah wrist thing on his, you know, I mean, there's a gain there, right? Street cred.
And he became this very prominent Christian, I want to say, in the recent years, especially after he was fired by Fox.
Well, you got to give people room to grow. You know, like the life I lived in my 20s and 30s is not the life that I'm living in my late 40s and 50s. I'm a totally different person. And if people don't give me room to grow and learn from life and what's really going on, then what can we do? I mean,
but it all comes down whether you're authentic or not.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Do you think he's authentic by being and prophesying Christianity?
I mean, I would like to think so, but again, it's like you're allowed to talk about things that most of us would get shadow banned to the dark realms for saying, you know. But I do think he listen, again, it's like you can hear everything he has to say. This is for anybody. You can listen to anything they have to say. The minute you catch them in a lie that is so off, and you could say that CIA thing is that, then you shouldn't listen to him. That's just the truth. It's like, I think he puts out I think he's very important. You know, he is putting out a lot of truth that I think people need to hear. But if that lie is so bad to you, then you shouldn't listen to him. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, you shouldn't listen to him. But
do you remember him interviewing McGregor, Conor?
No, I don't remember that.
Bro, I'm gonna show you one thing, and tell me, what do you see?
Oh, the 100%, dude. I'm totally into everything you're saying. Again, it's
out of
like,
all the spots they have had to choose.
Yeah,
they chose
the
that
checkerboard, white, black. Freemasonry. Again, he has the Kabbalah wristband on.
Yeah, but do you think that means a lot? Maybe he didn't know that. So, for example, right now, I've been told by a good buddy of mine, Joe, that if you're a Freemason, you always do something in the background. You have the brick walls, right? So I've been doing the brick walls interviews back in my home country since 2016, but I did not know that. Maybe he did not know that this red thing is from Kabbalah.
Well, I could believe that you would not know that because, again, like if you go back to like the earliest tinfoil hat, I had this comic on named Dean Del Rey, and he thought it'd be funny that we do crazy hand signals in the picture, in the thumbnail for his appearance. But I didn't know till later what those symbols meant, right? Because we were just talking about like all the weirdness in rock back in the day. It was very early in the show. Today, I would never. I mean, dude, I have to watch my hands when I'm talking. I'm Italian. I have to watch, even if some weird kind of like nervous, like twitch, someone's going to stop the frame, put it out, and be like, look at Sam, he's doing the Freemason symbols. I'm not a Freemason. I talk about it all the time. We were in San Francisco, one of the biggest shows we ever did, when I realized that tinfoil hat comedy was a really great thing. And we got approached by Freemasons. They were like, he came up, he showed us his ring, and he's like, we'd like to talk to you at the lodge. And we're like, we're good. Not happening. I don't want to be a part of any group, dude.
Okay. Quick question. Do you think Freemasonry is good or bad? Good or evil, let's say.
Okay, you can say that about anything. Islam, Christianity, Catholic, Judaism.
But it's not a religion.
But, it is a religion.
Freemasonry?
Yeah, it is a religion.
Okay, but good or bad? And then I'm going to give...
Well, I think the farther you go up, it's like any group. It's like Judaism or... I have so many Catholic friends. Do I think they're the Vatican? No. But the farther you go up in any group, within the Freemasonry, it's called... the core of the royal jesters. That's where the dark shit comes from. That's where the manipulators of mankind are. The same thing with my girlfriend's Jewish. She doesn't like what Israel's doing.
Ethnically or religiously?
Probably religiously. She doesn't practice in any way.
And you can't, because you don't have the Ark of the Covenant, you don't have the temple, and you don't have a high priest.
Right.
So if you're Jewish, you're basically living in a sin, and you can be atoned.
Dude, I'm with you, dude. I understand exactly what you're saying. This is a very advanced conversation right now that 99% of the humanity couldn't understand if they want to. It takes two people in the game for a while to understand what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. But the reason I brought that up is because my girlfriend doesn't like what's happening in Palestine. She doesn't like what's happening in Lebanon. Okay. But even with her, there's times where I'll make a joke or something and she's like, do you hate the Jews? I go, no, I don't hate the Jews.
I know you.
I don't. I live with you. Okay. Right. Trust me. I don't hate the Jews. But it's like, as you move up any power structure, the higher you get, the more corrupt and the more deranged and the more sinister it gets. It's just the way it is. So, but that's the game that plays. The top gets the bottom to fight with the other bottoms, while the two tops get along with each other.
Shaking hands.
Right? So that's the game. So to say all these people are bad is just ridiculous. Most of them aren't. And, you know, I've had people on my shows like Stu Peters, who I think is a very brave guy for the things he's saying. He's gotten a lot of shit for it. But we got a real, I wouldn't say heated discussion, but a passionate discussion on like, is it all Jews? And I'm like, it's not. And there's a lot of them that are pushing back against Zionism. We must support them because they're very important in this fight, you know, like Dave Smith and stuff like that. So it's like, if you can't condemn the actions of, you can't condemn an entire group for the actions of the very top. And to get to the very top, it takes a level of psychopath to get there. And it's very nuanced to do that. And 99% of the country does not have the ability to do that. Everything for them is plug and play. It's like good guy, bad guy. Everything is duality to them. It's like when you talk, it's like my friend Nate Bargatze right now, who's one of the kindest guys in the world. Like this guy plays arenas. He went back and found he went back for all of his old roommates that they all used to live together in an apartment in New York as they were trying to make it in comedy. He went back, got them, and they all opened for him in this arena show. It's like, that's a sign of a very good person when you come back and get your friends.
If they're talented enough. Because if they're not, bro, you're just bringing all your friends or relatives that have no talent.
Why is that bad, though?
But they have no talent. They can't.
Yeah, but they're your friends. So, like if
but the audience is going to tell you exactly what they think.
That's
of the
fine.
Talent of your
Then
friends.
he could be. I know the guys are all funny, but that's his choice. That's his crowd. He can put up whoever he wants, and if he loves somebody and they're a shitty prop comic, right? That's his show, and that's for him to do, and he's helping people that were with him when he was a nobody. I think that's very honorable. I you know, you can't tell somebody how to run the show, but, you know, he's getting a lot of crap because he was at the UFC fight at the White House, you know, so that automatically means to the left that he's a bad guy, which is ridiculous to me. Right. And it's stupid. It's like everything is nuanced. Can you take a look at it, pull your emotions back, and actually look at what's going on? And 99% of the people can't do that. Like this election in LA. The progressive left or the Democrats cannot come to grips with the anomalies in this election because it's their side, right? And they yell at me that I'm mad because my team lost. They think I'm a Republican. I've never voted for a Republican president ever in my life. I will never do it. I remember Reagan. I remember Bush. I'll never vote for them ever in my life. Never. Okay. But their inability to go, our side's doing bad stuff too, is why the system is where it is. Everyone brings emotions to a knife fight.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
So we fight each other.
Yes. It's all about, you know, even if you study like the view that like people have about Islam, right? And they're all like, Islam, oh, they're terrorists and all this stuff, but they don't actually study what's going on. There's a lot going on with that. First of all, most of your terrorist organizations were started and funded by either the U.S., Israel, or Saudi Arabia. Okay? Wahhabism through Saudi Arabia. All right? They're all funded by Western groups. They you know, you look at Syria, they put a guy who was on the most wanted list is now is now in charge of Syria. They put him there because he's one of their guys. And they don't understand that. So they automatically go Islamic jihadists, terrorists, bad people. And they also don't look at like where these people come from. You know, most of these people come from a country that has no economic ability at all. There's no economy. Everything's been bombed to shit. There's no economy. There's no way to start a business and take care of your family. The only jobs that are pretty much available are Islamic jihadists.
Yeah, but the international law says what? If you flee from your country that is torn by the war, you have to flee to a neighboring country, right? Not across the ocean.
Well, in terms of what's going on in the Middle East, like is that?
Yeah, let's take for instance.
Okay, so they're
Somalia.
Well, yeah, again, Somalia bombed the shit out of them. The only thing left is become pirates. I mean, like that's literally the only economic viability they have.
Yeah, but not fleeing to the U.S., to Minnesota, and to rule over.
Again, it's like, so if you study like all the predictive markets on who's going to be running for president, who has a chance, They have Gavin Newsom up there. Gavin Newsom right now is in the middle of a giant tax money laundering scandal. Him, his wife, stealing all the fire aid.
But bro, he's like duck. He can be under the water and he's gonna be not wet at all.
Yeah, well,
he's gonna be dry.
And you go, why is this guy that's had so many scandals? Why is he seen as the number one guy to run for the Democratic nomination? And the reason it is because through these tax fraud scandals and money laundering, he's literally funding the Democratic Party. He's their boy.
But bro, he's the best. He was 2-term mayor of San Francisco that turned into a shithole, right?
Yeah.
2-term California governor that turned this state almost into a shithole.
It is a
he wants
shithole.
to run the whole country.
He's ran off to Hollywood. He's destroyed LA and San Francisco. But honestly, dude, he's done his job. That's why he was sent in, is to destroy. Because what they want to do is basically have everybody flee from these towns so they can flip them into 15-minute cities. That's what they want. They want to completely, that's why the fires happen. I mean, we have this giant chemical fire going on right now. And guess who left the city again? Karen Bass. Again.
She's busy. Come on.
She's
so busy.
She's busy, dude. And somehow she always has an appointment somewhere when a fire breaks out.
Bro, but you're such a bigot, misogynist, and racist. You're saying this stuff because she's black and she's a woman. Only because of this.
People always say that to me. Oh, you're a misogynist. I go, so? Which I'm not. But it's just labels to emotionally manipulate me. And I don't care. I love everybody, dude. I actually, I've been blessed to travel the world. I've done stand-up in the Middle East, Australia, China. And you go there, you're like, wow, it's all
China.
Yeah. China. And by the way, this whole thing that's coming out with Tulsi Gabbard, they funded the Wuhan labs and the virus. It's like, okay, first of all, how did the virus get out? No one ever tells you that. They always say, oh, it came from this lab. How did it get out? Did somebody drop a beaker? Did someone forget to lock it and it just escaped? And I always love to take that scene from Indiana Jones when the Nazis opened the Covenant, and I'm like, oh my God, footage from Wuhan. Look at the Wuhan virus getting out. Viruses aren't real. They don't exist. They've never been proven ever in the history of time. And I get yelled at all the time, which is so hilarious because I'm like, hey, dude, you don't have to worry about this. Never been proven, ever. It's called Cox postulates. They've never done it. And they'll lie right to your face. I saw an article. There's this really great doctor out there named Dr. Andrew Kaufman. And what he'll do is he'll find all of these articles where they say they've proven Cox postulates. And he'll go to the article, he'll read the article, he'll look at all the studies cited. He'll go to the studies because he knows he speaks their language. He'll study their study, and literally in it they go, this does not prove Cox postulates. And you got all these virologists at the front of like, COVID, dude. COVID was a giant, a bioweapon, and then you go, virus is real? Then they go, yeah. I go, did they prove Cox postulates? Yeah. Total lie, dude. Total 100% lie. We want to get into controlled oppositions. Look at everybody at the forefront saying that this was a bioweapon. It wasn't a bioweapon.
Yeah, but at first that was just an accident in the Chinese market.
Bro.
An asshole ate a bat. Do you remember the story? They fed us with the story.
Well, dude, so the whole thing that they do, Apollo, is this. They get you to buy a narrative for somebody else, okay? So we'll take COVID or we can take AIDS, whichever one you want to do. They get you to buy that it affects these people who are not you and not me. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I remember watching it well, we think COVID only affects the Asians. So if you're not Asian, you should be okay. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, oh, thank God. Thank God. It only affects Asians. Once you buy it's real, they got you captured. They did it with AIDS, right? Hey, it's a gay man's disease. It's only the gays, dude. Don't worry.
Blacks.
Right? Well, that wasn't even discussed. At first, it was gay men. hey, dude, it's
You're not gay.
It only if you're not gay, you're good, dude. You're totally, you could go get weird as you want. As long as you don't do gay shit, you're fine. Everyone's like, oh, dude, I'm not gay, I'm fine. And then as soon as everybody bought in that it was gay man's disease, which means they bought the validity of the virus, then they're like, oh man, this straight chick just got it. Oh no. And now you're captured because you believe it's real, and now it could get you. And then everyone's running around crazy. It's all part of a depopulation.
Okay, so do you think that's the number one reason why didn't they start this thing with hantavirus a month ago or 2 months ago? Because people didn't fall for it?
Well, you got to understand that lizards can't create. That's why they run the exact same playbook over and over and over again. Even if you study like what Israel's doing right now, they're like, dude, you see all these Zionists. Looks like America needs another 9/11 to remember. You're like,
crazy
bro,
narrative.
you guys are screwed because anything happens, we automatically assume it's Israel. They've backed themselves into a corner, but they can't come up with anything different. They can't do it. They have no ability to create. They're not creators.
But can you imagine a Muslim saying that maybe America needs another Pearl Harbor?
100%. 100%. And we, it's like, so I'm in a precarious position because I'm in LA and I don't believe in political correctness. And what I really don't believe in is protected classes. I don't believe anybody should be protected from the consequences of their actions. Okay? I don't think anyone's above comedy, and I don't think anybody's above criticism. And that's it shouldn't be, but it's a very dangerous position to have. Because people get really upset about that. All right? They get really upset that if you look at me, dude, I'm really the most open. I know this is going to sound crazy.
And you're white male.
Yeah, well, I'm Armenian, which is Caucasus, okay? Caucasian. We're from the Caucasus Mountains. I'm also part Moor, which, I'm Sicilian. I have more in me, and more, people don't want to hear this. Most of the slaves didn't come on boats. They didn't come on boats. They were already here. They were called the Moors, and they colonized Florida. And that's where most of your slaves came from. And people don't want to talk about, because that narrative is important to divide and conquer. Oh, these people brought it over. And it's like, I don't know who owned the boats, but I find it very funny that, if you say white slave boats, nobody says anything. You say Jewish slave boats, everyone loses their fucking mind. Why is that? I don't understand that. Why some people are protected, some people aren't. I mean, I really do know, but I don't understand why they think like that.
Yeah, but who were the ones that were selling those black people?
100%.
The other black people?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we're talking about reparations. How far back do we want to go? Because Africans were, the narrative that were sold is Africans were selling Africans. Mm-hmm. And, I live in LA, and it's super interesting to me right now that, we live in a culture right now that refuses to forget about slavery from hundreds of years ago, to the point that people who've never been slaves are asking for reparations. And God bless you, I'd go for it too. I heard one guy go, if you took in, inflation, we should be each paid $500 million. And I'm like, dude, shoot for the stars, bro. Yeah, I
identify myself as a black
person.
Yeah,
100%. Shoot for the stars, dude. Go for it. Why not? Shoot high, and then it'll maybe come in low. Ask
at
for
least $5 million.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I want $500 million. Will you take 20? Okay, fine. I'll take it. Shoot for the stars, dude. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. If we're going to do reparations, how far back do we go? Should we be, if we're going to believe the narrative, which I don't, should we go back and...
California was never a slave?
Never had one slave out here. Well, in terms of that story, there's slave labor here in this country for sure. I mean, in the state for sure. And these sweatshops and stuff like that.
Still is.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because, I have a lot of black comic friends who I love very much, and they're very funny people, but they're doing jokes about buying slaves in Libya. I go, how are you doing slave jokes when the whole narrative is like, we can never forget this? It's such a stain on our history. You're doing jokes about literally people today. You're on stage telling jokes, making money, telling jokes, while there's literally human beings captured and being sold into slave auctions.
That's happening in Libya? I did not hear that.
You did not hear that? Oh, that is so crazy, dude. So the funniest thing ever is how people look at Trump and Obama different. They act like Obama is like walks on water and Trump is evil personified. And that position is, the presidency is a position of a war criminal. They preside over war crimes. Okay. And the fact that nobody understands that Obama is a Bush, he's the descendant of Bushes. His grandfather and George Bush Sr. worked together to build up the CIA, and they're 10th cousins.
Oh, that one guy, that English person from 1500?
Well, very interesting. If you study like the lineage of both, the first common ancestor that the Obamas and the Bushes have is a Hinckley.
Yeah, Hinckley, that's what's his
And Hinckley tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan, right? And which is very interesting because like Hinckley was, after the assassination, Hinckley was allowed to say he was too crazy to stand trial, right? And then you had the guy who shot John Lennon, didn't get that, wasn't allowed to do that. So and then you start going in, because I don't believe any of the assassination attempts on Trump. I think it's all theater. I think if you study the first one in Pennsylvania, it's a Kabbalistic ritual of servitude. You make your left ear bleed. That's a sign you're going to stay in servitude to your masters.
But when people say right now that it can be fake and etc., Trump Time magazine cover, right? 2026. Guys, just take a look at his ear. This is his ear that he was shot at, right?
Yeah, dude. But
Come on.
But that's done on purpose.
They're showing you this specific side on purpose.
Yeah.
Where's that thing?
That's called nonlinear warfare. What they're doing is, and this is old KGB thing, where they're giving data to both sides, so both sides think they're right, and therefore it's divide and conquer will never, ever come together. Like George Floyd was a great example of that, right? George Floyd was the perfect high-impact event to get both sides to fight with each other. You know, you have this situation where he's sitting on his top of his neck back. We see him die, so the black community loses their mind. And then when you get into what actually happened that day and all the events, the conspiracy theorists go, well, this isn't what they're telling us. Now there's enough data for that side. And both sides end up fighting with each other and never agreeing on anything.
Okay, so to be honest, the whites, the Asians, the blacks, the Jews, everyone should have been mad if George Floyd was killed that way.
Right.
Right? He was killed by a cop on purpose. He was, let's say he was yelling, I cannot breathe.
Yeah.
Everyone should have got mad, not only the blacks.
Right. But he was yelling, I can't breathe in the car too. Listen, I agree with you. Why should Derek Chauvin be in jail is because he was an emergency responder who did not respond to the emergency properly and caused the guy to die. Okay. That's why he should be in jail. All right. I mean, this gets into dangerous stuff and people get really angry when you discuss it.
Yeah, but your boy, Sean Hibler, he covered this story.
Mariam Harmeen covered the whole thing. She has a book this thick on the whole situation about how his history of eating drugs and stuff like that. That's the perfect crime, the perfect impact event to cause divide and conquer. Same thing with the Carmelo Anthony thing, with this going on right now. Perfect. Both sides see their own data. Like everyone lives in their own reality now. There is not one reality. There's everyone lives in their own reality based on the data that based on the data that your algorithm tells you.
Okay, do you believe in this thing that was real or fake? Bro, they chose the blackest of the black and the whitest of the white.
Right.
There's no way. I think this is fake.
I mean, anything that she could be in the Ukraine right now, we wouldn't even know it. Like the 19 hijackers where they said they were all live in the Middle East. I don't believe any of that story, by the way. I'm not saying there weren't hijackers here, but that's all laying down different layers of deceit to form the story.
But bro, the passport. They found the passport.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Then they did it again, and they're like, "We found another passport!
Wow.
Whoa, we're so lucky, dude!" And then there was this guy made the funniest video about Passport Man, where they should just make a superhero out of passports,
Right.
because they can't burn and anything like that. 100%. So it's the perfect story. But every high impact. This is why I don't believe any of the Trump assassinations, because when there's a high impact event that they want to use to traumatize the masses, the target of that event does not make it out. There's so many layers to this event that are there to ensure that the event is completed. 9/11, great example. You had quote unquote hijackers, you had bombs in the building, you also had direct energy weapons. Like, where's all that cement and steel gone? Where is it? Magic, justified, magic. And everybody has their own belief in what's happening, and they all think I'm the one who's right, but the truth is you're all right. There's layers to this stuff. Same thing with JFK. JFK, people don't, I say this all the time, but JFK was like John Wick, right? When he goes into that plaza, all these people there, they were all assassins. You remember in the scene of John Wick where the phones go off and everyone in the plaza is an assassin? That's Daley Plaza right there. When he goes in, there were 60 people that weren't there. They were all eliminated. They were all killed off after mysteriously died. Just like the Vegas shooting where all these witnesses mysteriously died after. There were layers. Vegas shooting, great example. Snipers here, snipers on the ground. But now you have people talking about, oh, there were snipers on the ground. No, dude, there were snipers. So we're all fighting with each other. That's the whole thing. Trump wouldn't get out of Pennsylvania if that was a real attempt. There've been 3 attempts on his life, and none of them got him. Come on, dude. Like, these people are professionals. You don't get out of there. There's so many. There's a guy shooting here. There's a guy shooting here. There's a guy right next to you shooting. Like, you don't get out of there, dude. If they want you out, they want you out.
Okay, but let's take Reagan's assassination attempt.
Dude, that's a great point.
Ronald Reagan assassination, because it looks like
another performative event.
So take a look at this guy that acts like straight from a bad movie. I'm gonna show you the guy. How much? A second. That guy.
What's he doing? What's he doing, dude? What's he doing?
What is he doing?
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Just look at this guy.
And then
in a suit.
Who are they? Is Hinckley? I always thought it was from the top.
No.
Yeah. I mean, dude.
And a guy in an orange coat? Out of all the colors, there has to be a guy in an orange coat? Come on.
Hey, who is he? A
Who
cop?
is he? No.
And why is he in a
He's
rain
riding a
jacket?
bike,
Nobody
right.
else is.
Right.
And you know what this brings on? Gun laws.
The problem is with the guns.
Right? It's all gun laws, dude.
So out of all the conspiracy theories that you've heard, what was the most wild? And you still don't believe it? Because have you ever heard about this birds are fake theory?
But the crazy thing about birds are fake is there are birds that are drones.
Yeah, but not all. Because those people say all the birds...
Yeah. Well, they're there to ensure that people think conspiracy theorists are crazy.
Dumb.
Yes.
So dumb that you think that birds don't exist.
They were the fittest flat earther before the fittest flat earther. I mean, there's some crazy, crazy shit. So, you know, it's so crazy. We just celebrated our 1,000th episode. Mm-hmm. And it's like, to learn new things 1,000 episodes in is wild to me. And I just had this guy on. He lives in LA. If you can ever get him, he's really great. His name's Izzy Griffin. He goes by Izzy and Griffin. And he came on and he was talking about, let me just look at something real quick to get the name of the guy. But there's a deity, right? And so we have friends who come on shows and they talk about, look at that symbol, look at that symbol, look at that symbol. And we're all like, oh, you know, like, oh my God, the symbol's right there. Oh my God. So we always think that these directors, these set designers, all put this stuff in there. Like, we're like, oh man, did you see Fast and Furious 7? The number came up. Oh my God. And you're like, the guy who's doing Fast and Furious 7 is putting occult symbolism into shit. Right? I mean, even the most ridiculous stuff. So Izzy came on and he said something really freaking interesting. Will you look up this deity? It's spelled Chorozan. Chorozan. Deity. Put that there. Okay. Go. Can you find can you find where they break down who he is, who this entity is?
Origins and lore. Enochian magic. First recorded in the 16th century by occultist John Dee, original 007. And Edward Kelly, the entity was spelled Choronzon in original manuscripts. Thelema, which is Aleister Crowley.
Yes.
Popularized by early 20th century occultist Crowley, he served as the final gatekeeper in the occult cosmology. Thelemites believe Choronzon's role is to destroy the false self, causing ego death so the adept can advance. And the Sahara evocation. Crowley and his disciple Victor Benjamin Newberg claimed to have evoked Choronzon in the Sahara Desert, resulting in a legendary and harrowing account of shape-shifting and physical attack. Okay, so
basically what this deity is this deity is the deity of disorganization and deception. And according to, I'm trying to find the exact terminology of this dude, but basically it's believed that this is the deity of basically that sends people down false rabbit holes. Okay? His job is to deceive us. And I forget what's the word I'm looking for, man? But basically it's believed that this
I can see 66 cents, bro. That's it. We got the thumbnail, bro. We got the views. That's it. We're good.
You're gonna kill me, dude.
We can wrap it up right now.
His job is to basically so what these sorcerers do is they do rituals here. Mm-hmm. And this is according to Izzy. The rituals they do here affect the fourth and the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension is symbolism. And those symbolisms, through when they get energized, end up appearing down here. So according to Izzy, this is the deity that puts all of the symbolism in everything we do.
So people, let's say directors or graphic designers, costume designers, they're doing this unknowingly. This is what you're saying.
Yes, that this deity puts it in. Mm-hmm. So we're watching Back to the Future, and we see it come in, and there is a 9/11 and two trees, mm-hmm. and we're like, well, the director knew that 9/11 was coming. Well, what if he didn't know? What if he didn't even know why he put these Islamic jihadists in a van in the parking lot? What if that thought is put in? That to me makes way more sense than the notion that everybody and everything, everybody, whether they're in children's shows, whether they're in sci-fi shows, whether they're in sitcoms, is somehow putting occult symbolism in everything. And this deity's job is, will you look up his exact definition of what he does? Because it's very specific. Disruption, I think it is.
Is a disruptor. Is literally known as the ultimate disruptor, originating in 16th century Enochian magic and popularized by Crowley, the demon of dispersion.
Yes.
Guards the abyss and represents ego, death, distraction, and the chaotic forces that prevent
the god of distraction, that's it. He's basically in charge of distraction.
Okay, so let's take, for example, this, what year was that? Party music. So, watch this. I don't know whether you know it or not. So there was a rap coup Their album cover, 2001, July, I want to say.
Yeah.
World Trade Center explosion, like a direct right, and this is like a remote control or something. And they have a song. The song is, which one is it? There was something with the song name, but it aired 2 to 3 months prior to the 9/11 attack.
Right.
Do you think they knew it?
That's the question. Do you think those two rappers were so deep into the occult that they knew 9/11 was happening? Or did this deity put that in their head to do it, to cause chaos? So everyone's like, oh my God, look at these rappers. They were talking about 9/11 before. And now we're going down these deep rabbit holes that lead to nowhere.
Okay, do you believe in cosmic karma, that they have to show us first so they won't get...
I do believe in that, which I find the most, I think it wasn't it King Solomon who basically figured out how to control the demons
Keys to...
and the keys, and he told them that was one of the rules. They have to tell us what they're doing. I do believe in that.
Because it's the only thing that makes sense why they're showing this to us prior to an event.
Right. But the belief is that everywhere all the time is them telling us everything. Like even the most simple of shit. Like, oh my God, look at this Kraft macaroni and cheese commercial. It predicted Trump's, I'm just making stuff up at that point. But is that what we want to believe, that even on a commercial level that they're putting this out? Or is this deception and distortion by this deity who Aleister Crowley himself says made him go mad?
Yeah, but they're not lying. Let's say that was a psyop
not
and that
saying
was a lie, but this is true. This is two to 3 months prior to the event, bro.
Right. I totally understand what you're saying right there. But I'm saying, are these two guys in on it? Is that what we want to believe? Let's look at what happened. Can you look up what happened to this band after this? Did they do anything? Did they go on to do anything? Like, my question is, like, how deep does the controlled op go? I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying this deity makes way more sense than two random rappers being in on the global conspiracy of the elites to put this out. Did they put it out? Is it their job to put it out? Did they go, hey, dude, we're gonna, these Zionists were like, hey, we're gonna put this in your music?
Yeah, but can you imagine them freaking out to
100%, which to me,
September 11th, like, what the fuck, our art cover?
Yeah, dude. But to me, that makes more sense that was implanted in them by a deity, because it's all about fallen angels, dude. It's God's war on fallen angels, dude. And the whole thing is like, so technology comes, they create the Tower of Babel to go to war with God. The fallen angels wanted back in heaven. Mm-hmm. They create this Tower of Babel. God figures it out, wipes it out, sends everyone all over the world with different languages and different deities to worship. These deities were worshipped for a long time until Christ comes down and is like, nah, done. And that's where the war begins. This is the long war between good and evil, right and wrong. And this is what, and that, again, going back to what I said earlier, this is about Christ stopping sacrifice of animals and children. And to me, that makes the most sense. That just clicks with me. Everything I do is psychic, dude. I know it's like crazy. I come from psychics on my father's side. My grandmother was a psychic, and it's just like, I think my show has lasted so long with our numbers. Our numbers were the highest before YouTube censored us. We were getting hundreds of thousands of views, and now we're fighting for 10,000.
That's crazy.
Right? So, but outside of that, our numbers have been pretty consistent for 10 years, which is really hard.
And it didn't change.
What do you mean?
So maybe the content changed.
No. It's, I mean, we again, like I go back to my buddy talking about, occult symbolism in rock and roll. We're still doing occult symbolism. Literally, the episode that dropped on Wednesday was occult symbolism in the music industry. So it's like we've been doing the same stuff. Sometimes we go a little deeper on occasion, but I've always said that my show is the training wheels to deeper shows like yourself, Greg Carlwood, you know, all of these, you know, shows that go much deeper. Like you could give our podcast to a newbie and they could listen to it because, you know, it's not that we do superficial discussions, but we make it so it's digestible.
Entry level.
Right?
Having fun.
Like we make a lot of laughter during it, you know.
Okay, but then tell me what happened. Let's take 1940s, 50s, and 60s. Let's take movies and music. I want to say up to 90% of all the music from the 50s to 60s was about love. What happened so right now we sing about wet ass pussy?
Well, the truth is that, you know, again, I had this discussion last night with a cat named Jake Grant, who's on Skiba News Network, which is, you know, two of my friends. And he was talking about there has been a prophecy of building up America and then destroying it, which would bring in a new world order. So that's exactly what's happened. So it's kind of like what I said with YouTube, right? Like they allow conspiracy theorists to flourish to build up the platform. And then once they got to where they wanted to, they ran them off. Same thing in America. They needed to build up everything, the infrastructure, all that stuff, because because the Bank of England has hijacked our country.
Who's running it?
Who's running the Bank of? Well, I mean, it goes way deeper into. It's beyond, dude, Abrahamic religions. Like if you're fighting over Abrahamic religions. And who's running shit, you've already lost. It's so beyond that. There were entities, there were spirituality, philosophical beliefs way before the Abrahamic religions. Way before it. Mm-hmm. Again, we're going back to Babylon. Like this sorcery magic at the top. It's probably 13 families that run everything that made deals with fallen angels. That's what I believe. And these 13 families, they're demonic. And they worship the Watchers, and they are waging war against God's greatest creation.
Why do you think they are showing this to us right now in 2026? Because they were hiding, let's say, 30 to 40 years ago. Now they're not even hiding. They're bluntly showing us what they're doing.
Because they're making their move. This is, you know, I was doing a joke about how we're getting like, you know, World War III, Civil War, AI destruction, you know, climate destruction, the end of days all at one time. It's like, how lucky are we, dude? I mean, people have been talking about this for thousands of years and we're getting it all at once, dude. Blessings, right? Because they're making their move. And I said this before, like Q was about telling us everything they're doing because they were going to reset the whole thing. So they were giving us information on an old system. And, you know, there's this kind of war right now going on between the old guard and the new guard. And the old guard is led by the old banking system, and the new guard is led by people like Peter Thiel. And, you know, I wish.
What a guy. Such a noble guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's giving lectures on Christianity and the Antichrist. It's like
Antichrist.
This power gay. It's like unbelievable, dude. But there's a fight over where the third temple will be. You know, like. The old guard wants third temple brick and mortar in Israel. The new guard wants the third temple to be the surveillance system. They want that to be the new third temple. So that's a real war going on between these two groups. Like, you know, it's like mafias. Like mafias work together when it's, you know, they have mutual interests, but they go to war with each other constantly. There's no difference than Washington, D.C. I've been saying this forever. Trump is a crime boss, and he represents a different power group, which was New York City real estate.
For how many years do you live in LA?
I've been living here since 1998.
Where are all the gangs?
The gangs are in the certain sections.
They're still there.
You don't think there's no gangs?
Do you hear about them?
Well,
Where's the mob?
Well, the mob is. Well, the mob was never what we were told. We were told they were Italian mobs. That wasn't the real
Italian,
mob.
Jewish.
But we weren't told about Jewish. Every movie's about the Italian mob. That is done on purpose.
Half of them are Jewish. The Jews built the Las Vegas, right? The Jewish mafia.
100%.
Boxer Siegel.
Yeah.
He was Jewish.
Yeah.
He wasn't
100%.
Italian.
Yeah, 100%. But it's sold as Italians.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you and I know that.
Yeah, but where are they now? What happened to them? What happened to gangs? What happened to Bloods and Crips? Where are they?
I think there's still gangs. I just don't think you hear about it right now because that's a narrative that they're trying to hide. They're causing race wars. I mean, you see it happening right now with crime. Like, so this guy in I think it was Oregon or Washington, this black guy stabs this white guy. After the white guy got stabbed, the white guy called the black guy the N-word. And the jury let the black guy off because the white guy called him an N-word.
Do you believe that this is real?
Well, I mean, like,
It can't be fabricated. For us to argue, it's like, how could you do that? The guy was stabbed.
Now we're cooking, dude. Now we're cooking. Everything is a magic trick. Everything is a magic trick. Okay? I mean, yeah, I mean, like, you get to a point where you're like, what's real, what's fake? And my whole thing is just like, I don't get lost in any of it. I don't do my, there's this old saying like, oh, don't worry about the sheep, wake up the sleeping lions. I'm like, I'm not even going to worry about the sleeping lions. I just like to watch and observe so I don't fall into what their psyops are. I have a friend of mine who I love very much. He was kind of like, do you think your show's doing any good? Is it causing maybe more problems? I go, dude, if everyone listened to my podcast, no one would have gotten that shot. And we wouldn't be losing our friends to turbo cancer.
Just a coincidence.
So what is real? Who knows? I mean, can you look it up? I mean, like, did the case happen? Right? And like, if you dismiss everything as not real, I mean, it's interesting to me. I mean, that's a real play. And again, it goes back to like Bill Hicks's old jokes. Like, I watch the news, it's chaos. Then I look outside my window and it's a beautiful day. That's why I'm getting off Twitter. That's why, like, I took Twitter off my phone. It's just like a trauma deliverance system. So when you go, is there what's real, what's not real? That's a great question.
So you live in LA. ICE. How do they call it when they capture people?
You bring up a great point, dude. So you want to hear something really crazy? So during COVID, I was one of the few comics that were touring still. Because me and my fans didn't give a shit. We're like, it's all bullshit. We're going to go. My agent at the time, they would call these tours suicide missions because we were going in. So one day I'm playing, one weekend I'm playing Portland. And you study Portland and, on the news, it's like, all hell is breaking out. Loose hell. Portland is an inferno war. And you're like, oh, dude, I can't wait to go and see all this stuff, right? So I fly in. There were some guys who had a great show called Good Morning Jonestown. It was a really funny podcast, and they were going to open for me. So I land, and I go, dude, let's go look at these riots. They go, we haven't seen any. I go, what? He goes, we haven't seen any. I go, no way, dude. Let's get in the car and let's drive around. So we drove around, right? And we find this park, and there is the riot. 50 people. In one building, and I looked in the building, there was like National Guard, and I was like, oh, this is real. But I realized how they shot it.
Macro.
Yeah. Look at the chaos. And like, we're having lunch like nothing's happening. So in that aspect, I totally agree with what you're saying, dude. I totally agree.
ICE arrests everywhere in LA. Don't even go outside if you're not a U.S. citizen.
I agree with that, dude. 100.
Where? What happened to those arrests?
Yeah.
Fake, just to scare people? Maybe.
Well, that gets into like all these like shootings that happen everywhere at schools and all that stuff, right?
If you go to that school at that time?
Well, you go there, you're like, I haven't heard anything about these funerals. Where are these funerals? Where are the funerals that say goodbye to these people? And where the two Israelis that were shot outside the Holocaust, like in Washington, D.C., shot outside the Holocaust Remembrance Museum at late night. Like, why are they there? And then you go, where are the funerals? Where's all magic tricks, dude?
Just to stir up and to get the emotions.
Well, to steal your loosh. It's all about jacking your loosh. It's all about these demons feed off our anxiety. And that it's a spiritual war, man. I've been saying this for freaking ever, dude. It's not flesh and blood. It's a spiritual war. And these demons feed off our fear.
So when I was 12 to 13, maybe 14 years old, I watched this very old, back in the day, an old movie, Russian movie about a girl that was trafficked from Russia to Sweden, and she was working as a prostitute against her will. And it left such a trauma in my head. And only now I realize this was the whole purpose, to traumatize.
Yes. The Charlie Kirk stuff, right?
The Charlie Kirk stuff.
You know, like Twitter, which I think, again, is a trauma deliverance system. Mm-hmm. You could not see Charlie Kirk getting assassinated.
And every other video that involves blood was censored on, let's say, Instagram or even TikTok. But Charlie Kirk with the fountain of blood everywhere.
Well, just think about this. Twitter is the first platform to allow snuff films.
What is that?
That's where somebody dies in the video.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see that anywhere else. And if you do, it's completely blurred out.
Mm-hmm.
But not on Twitter. Twitter, you can see the people dying right there. You've seen more death outside of any of your relatives that fought in a war than anybody else. It's right there and they shove that thing down your throat. And then you go into what's real, what's fake with that, you know? And there's some people that think Charlie Kirk didn't really die. And you're like, well, I mean, that's a lot to do, a lot more work to do than actually to just off him.
Yeah, but he always filmed his performances, right? There was a camera, 4K camera.
100%.
Release the footage.
Right.
If you don't love those conspiracies,
so the question becomes, what's the more important narrative to them? Is it a narrative that Israel did it? Because that fits into this whole thing about this movement to get anti-Semitism everywhere. Mm-hmm. They want to crank it up because you can't have anti-Semitism laws unless you have anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why all these videos are coming out of Gaza and out of Lebanon, showing them sniper firing kids. They want you pissed at that so that you get so angry that you're going off on the internet, and then the powers that be can use that to pass anti-Semitism laws.
But you can't even be sure that the video that you're watching when a sniper takes out a kid, that it's real. You just can't, bro. They can feel Avengers.
But do you understand that real or fake, that's the purpose, is to stoke the fires of anti-Semitism so that they can pass Noahide laws. Everyone's worried about Sharia law, right? And we go into whether that's real or fake, right? But everyone's worried about Sharia law, and nobody's talking about Noahide laws. And the Noahide law people are actually meeting with your politicians to pass that. But you bring up a really great thing. It's like, you know, let's say you remember the giant alien ship that was coming and it was going to show up, and this Israeli guy's like, just cash out all your money from your bank, cash out your 401k. And then what happened? Nothing.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. February 2022, the war in Ukraine starts. It lasts for 4.5 years now, right? Second World War, when Soviets entered the war, 1941 to 1945, the war ended in 4 years. Now Ukrainian war, 4.5 years, more than the Second World War when Soviets started the war. What happened in 4.5 years? How are they fighting if nothing is changing? The borders do not change. How do you fight 4.5 years?
Well, let me ask you. Your family's there.
Yeah, and shoot from the other side?
What do they say it's happening?
I've seen that there are, so let's take Kiev 2026 party. In Kiev, there are parties, concerts,
yes,
culture.
Yes.
Maybe it's not booming and blooming, but it's still happening over there. But when your country is at war, why would you have a concert? What is happening? And we can't be sure that it really happens over there.
Interesting, because
it might be fake.
I've been saying this about the Iran war. I don't think it's real. I've been saying that for a while, because you have, quote unquote, you know, Iran is bombing Israel.
Right.
Right. But Israel's then bombing Lebanon. Why would you not focus on the people bombing you? Why would you be bombing somebody else while you're simultaneously getting bombed? I've never seen anybody getting punched in the face by this guy trying to punch this guy over here.
Right.
It's 100% psyops. So my question to you is the Greater Israel Project real to you? I'm open-minded to all this, dude. I'm open-minded to all this. I'm totally fine with none of it's real. But like, let me ask you something. Are all these young people getting turbo cancer? And before you say, are they? I have friends that have died. My mother got blood clots. Her heart's having problems. So what's your thoughts on that? I mean, is the bioweapon real?
So I'm gonna give you two examples. Two of my dad's best friends, after 2021 something that they got, one guy had a cancer. It's not a turbo cancer. He's still alive, but he's fighting it for 4.5 years right now. And doctors in Lithuania and in the neighboring country, Belarus, they can't find what's happening with him. And another guy had a problem with the lungs. He was in the hospital for months, and now he has to have to carry with this oxygen mask. And they do not connect the dots. My dad is not connecting the dots. I was like, Dad, these friends of yours were healthy prior to 2021 event. Now they almost died.
Yes.
So it's just a coincidence.
I'm with you,
They
dude.
don't connect the dots.
So my question to you, and I'm totally understanding everything you're saying, and I'm open-minded to all of it, is some stuff real?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
This stuff is real because these are the outcomes. I can see and feel the results because of the people that I personally know.
I think it's very interesting, dude. What is real, what is not real. And I'm open-minded to it, all of it. Again, keep your head on a swivel, I always say.
There are people that saying COVID is not real. I disagree because I had one.
You had what?
I had COVID.
Well, how do you know you had COVID? I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you. You took a test that wasn't real. Do you know what your test? No.
My head ached for 3 days.
Right, but dude, you understand there's other things at work there. They like why we were all stuck inside. They put in 5G towers. They were spraying the sky, right?
They're still spraying this guy.
Right, yeah. So there was all this stuff at work that the virus doesn't exist, dude. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, but I felt horrible for 3 days. What was that?
Buddy, you are the best. I love you to like you're sitting there. This is not me going at you. This is me having a fun conversation. So don't take it. I'm not going at you at all. But what I find interesting is that you can totally believe that all this isn't real, and yet this provably fact that viruses have never been proven, dude, ever. It's Cox Posh. It's never happened. AIDS isn't real. A monkeypox isn't real. Herpes isn't real. None of it's real, dude. None of it exists at all. It's dude. Please let me send you guys to talk to, dude. You'll understand. It's not. I know you were hurting because they're spraying.
Was that?
They're spraying the sky and they're cranking the 5G up, dude. They're cranking the 5G up.
Yeah, but what does the 5G have to do with it?
Because it's dirty electricity, man. It's like I was just telling you earlier with these
Devices,
lights and everything, dude. You're gonna eventually you're gonna be like, man, I can't remember that guy's name because you're being inundated with dirty electricity. And this is what's happening. The 5G is crank it up, man. Have you seen trees, how they grow away from the tower? Mm-hmm. How birds are falling out? That's what we're dealing with right now. I'm telling you, I will stake my life on it. Viruses aren't real, dude. It's like my favorite conspiracy. It's like anytime people come on, I can't hear. I've had doctor after doctor after doctor come on, all losing their YouTube channels because they're saying to you, viruses aren't real, okay? HIV, first of all, they've never proven HIV causes AIDS, and they've never isolated the HIV virus. Have you seen the video where the guy takes blood from someone who's HIV positive and puts it in his own body? Mm. Look it up, dude. Doctor shoots HIV blood into his body.
Doctor shoots HIV into his body.
It's an old great video. See if you can find it. You might have to go on Yandex to get it, dude.
Oh, yeah, you're a Russian spy. Yandex.
Yeah. So you got to go down. It's an old grainy video. I don't know if you'll be able to find it. It's very hard to find because they don't want you to see it. Try Yandex. Just try Yandex, Russian spies. Let's just try Russian spies.
Russian, balalaika, vodka, bears.
But you go, why do they go after the Russians? Why do they hate? So one of the craziest. Yeah, that's it right there.
This is the guy?
That's the guy.
Look, this is a YouTube. Okay.
So this guy.
Robert Wilner injects HIV into himself on TV.
Yeah, and he dies of old age. It's not real, dude.
Okay. And how did he die? And after how many years? What he did, Robert Wilner was an American physician and author who was a prominent HIV/AIDS denialist. He wrote the book on December 7, 1993 at a press conference in front of journalists in Florida. He dramatically picked his finger with blood from Pedro Tocino, a man he claimed was HIV positive, and rubbed into his own
And then he died in
finger.
1994, a year later. So I was wrong on that. But he didn't die of HIV, dude. He had a heart attack.
He died of a heart attack.
And we know they could hit these
Yeah, but
guys.
you can live with HIV for years, especially now with the medicine.
Right. But he never tested positive for HIV, dude. It does not. It doesn't. I'm telling you, brother. It's like they just want to inject you with bioweapons. That's the whole purpose of this. It's not real. You were hit with 5G. They crank that shit up, and they can crank it up, dude, to get everybody to go inside.
How old are your daughters?
6.
Okay, so 6 years old. My son is 7. You're 50-something. So when you were born, you didn't even have a chance to be exposed to second generation, third generation, 4G, 5G. No Wi-Fi's, right? Now our kids can't even escape. They're born under the influence of Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I turn off my Wi-Fi router every night.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're in the complex, apartment
You're
complex.
surrounded by it.
Yeah, and we have dozens only in this apartment that is just going at us.
100%. It's dirty electricity.
The only place I want to say you go and there's no coverage, Death Valley.
Yeah.
We were to Big Bear last year. Bro, 5G Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean, you could be traveling and you got the internet on your phone. Mm-hmm. And it's just dark. It's
emitting on
It's
us.
dirty energy, dude. And so you study, this is where everyone loses their mind on me. You study so many of these plagues and all that stuff. So many of them happen when new technology was introduced. You know, like high wire electricity. We're electricity, dude. Our system is electricity, dude. So you're introducing more electricity. It just throws us off.
Connect wireless network like 2G and 3G to a disease, i.e. COVID and 5G roll out just for fun. Yeah, I've seen the stats. Not the influenza. What was it? The swine flu was 3G or 4G, let's say. Yeah, so 1918, first commercial radio waves expanding. What's Spanish flu? 1957, early TV broadcast expansion. Asian flu. So racist. 1968, first G analog experiments begin. Hong Kong flu. Asians were attacking us.
Dude, what did you lose? Claude for that?
Yeah.
Well, I gotta get on Claude.
Just say for fun, because otherwise he would say, fuck, you're probably not doing
Just for
it.
fun.
1991, 2G, HIV. 3G, anthrax attacks West Nile virus surge. 3G, SARS. 4G,
Dude,
H1N1.
that is crazy.
5G, COVID pandemic.
So I'm going to say something to you, and I believe that Putin and Zelensky are working together.
100%. 100%.
So the Ukrainian war comes right out when everyone starts realizing COVID is bullshit. And this goes into why I think the Iran wars, everybody wants a seat at the New World Order. Everybody. China, Iran, Russia, they're no different. Yeah, I don't. Just leave me alone, dude. Just leave me alone. But they all want a seat. They all want to be a part of it. So this woman, Susan Bradford's come on my show, and she does really great research. And she told me that she thought, through her research, that Putin was the hidden banker of the Rothschilds. When they're trying to hide all their wealth, put it in Russia because no one sees their books. So you have the Greater Israel Project, and then you have New Israel, which is going to be the Ukraine. Okay, that's going to be another area because that was old Khazaria, and like there's a whole fight on whether the Khazarian story is real or not. I think there's some truth to it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But they've been literally grabbing Christians off the street and throwing them into the meat grinder. And Putin, again, wants to be part of the New World Order. He doesn't want to be excluded. He wants a seat at the table. And if he is working with the Rothschilds, because he has to, the Iranians and the United States need each other. Oligarchies help oligarchies. And they both need each other to be the bad guy for the other side. So Iran uses the U.S. as bad guy, and we've done a lot of bad shit. I'm not saying that. And then the U.S. uses Iran as the bad guy to galvanize their populations. So they're all working together.
Brother, remember Reagan and the Iran-Contra?
Bro, no, dude, it's even crazier.
Your face.
When I was a kid, man, and I was starting to wake up to everything, there's a couple reasons I started believing in conspiracies. You have kids, so I'm not going to get into one of them.
Go. They don't listen. They don't
well, I don't know if you have kids. Well, it's Santa Claus. Oof. I think Santa Claus is a giant blackmailing scheme. Obviously, I'm joking around, but that's the conspiracy. But then the Iron Sheik got caught with Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a car, and it just destroyed my view of the world. Like, I was such a pro wrestling fan. I would tune in every, Friday and Saturday night watching pro wrestling. And then to find out the Iron Sheik, who later on I was able to write, nicest guy you've ever met, really good dude. But when he got busted with Hacksaw Jim Duggan drunk in a car, it destroyed my view. I'm like, you guys are supposed to hate each other. And now you're drinking and getting drunk. So I very early, I had an understanding that things weren't what they were. Why did I bring that up? Oh, so when I was really young and we were in the Cold War with with Russia. Right? And we're having this nuclear arms race, and we're just like, we got to beat these Russians. They get more nukes than us. We're in trouble. And everyone's like, go, 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 go. Take our money. Build these things. And I remember watching the news, and one day they're like, the U.S. is sending aid to Russia. We're sending a giant pile of money to Russia in the middle of the Cold War. And I'm like, why are we doing that? Why are we sending these people that are the quote
enemy?
And then I realized it was all bullshit, dude. At that moment, I realized it was all bullshit. And they needed to prop up Russia as the bad guy so that they could have a reason to crank up the defense budget. So recently, there's been a big thing with China and AI, dude. If they get even an inch in front of us, we're done. And we're like, come on, man, we got to win this thing, right? And then I find out we're sending them conductors. Why are we sending the people we're in
so the race is close enough to build the data centers and
well, you got to create the enemy to have an enemy. Problem, reaction, solution.
So the first time I heard that was Tom and Jerry. If Tom would have caught Jerry, it would be over.
The show would be over.
Right.
Right? So my girlfriend and I were watching Friends and Neighbors. It's a great show. It's a great show. And it's funny because like for a couple episodes, he wasn't robbing anybody. And Dana's like, it's boring now. And you're like, so he has to keep robbing. So you're totally right with Tom and Jerry. They need each other. It's why they couldn't convict Trump, and Trump isn't going to go after Hillary Clinton because they need each other.
No, because he's noble.
Yeah, because
you can't put a former president's wife in prison. Come on.
And if he arrests them, it opens to him getting arrested.
Bro, 33,000 emails, that tells you everything. 33 out of all the numbers?
Yeah, 100%.
33?
100%,
Come
dude.
on.
Yeah, it's all KFAB, dude. It's all KFAB. They work together. So they're trying to pass this SAVE Act, right, which would stop mail-in ballots. And the Republicans are stopping it from passing. Why? Because they want to rig elections too. I mean, look at Thomas Massie. They went in there and like at the end of the night, 10,000 ballots came in for his opponent to get him over the top.
Oh, you think he's not one of them?
Who, Thomas Massie?
Right.
No, I know he is one of them. But it's listen, he's been a Freemason since he was a kid. Everyone gives Charlie Kirk shit. I mean, gives Erica Kirk shit about how she mourned the death of her husband. Thomas Massie isn't much off.
Ooh, that's a great story. 6 months to his wife's death, he was on Tucker Carlson saying how he loves his wife. 6 months after, his wife dies suddenly.
Yeah.
And then he remarries his colleague.
No, it's even before that. He comes back looking totally different.
Totally
Tan,
different. Correct.
new haircut,
no glasses,
new
jawline,
yeah,
jacked,
yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
On testosterone.
Yeah.
That's
well,
insane.
it's the old Albert Pike, and I don't even know if he said, but they get tribute to quote to him. Like, when they need a hero, we will supply it.
Yes.
And when they need a villain, we'll supply that too. So it's like he's been a Freemason since he was a teenager. Right? And he's like, and everyone's like, Thomas Massie's like, what has he done? He's done nothing, but he is the opposition that everyone runs to.
He's running his mouth only.
Now, they will arrest people when they're no longer useful. It's the same thing they do with like, stars, like celebrities, when they're all part of the system and when they're no longer useful, they get rid of them. P. Diddy is a great example of that. P. Diddy is making all this money off of music that he has. I know he just put out an album, but before that it was like 10 years. But he's still collecting money. They're like, get the fuck out. That's why the Rolling Stones are still touring at like 1,000 years old, right? Because they have to keep making that money. A friend of mine, Jamie Staw, Jamie Staw, it's her birthday, but it's Jamie Josta. He's in Hatebreed, right? And he was on my Cash Daddy's podcast, and he was talking about how he was thinking about putting all of his concerts on his website and charging that. And then he told somebody that story, and they said to him, well, you better cut them in because they don't like that.
Okay.
Right? And that's exactly all these rappers, even to the point of Louis C.K., right? The comedian. He gets taken out when he starts producing his own stuff and putting his own sitcoms on his website and not cutting them in on it. They don't blow you up for you to go off reservation. So like you and I make it independent, they don't care about that. If they push you to the top, you don't get to leave. It's what happened to Michael Jackson. It's what happened to Prince. It's what happened to Louis C.K. It's what happened to Tupac. It's like they want to go off reservation and do it themselves and keep all the money. It doesn't happen.
How much is enough? Billions? Trillions?
Well, it's never enough because they want a piece of the pie to the day you die because they blew you up. It's dark arts, dude. They're dark, dark people. If they blow you up, that's why Frankie Valli's still going and they have to run. He's basically lip syncing. They're running a song behind him, and he's just like, and he can barely even talk.
Like, why?
Because they want that money, dude.
It's like NBA players. They are going broke. They earned, let's say, $100 million. How can you go broke if you were worth $100 million? He bought this mansion. Sell the mansion, bro, for $20 million.
Yeah,
you can live for the rest of your life.
So I have this thing, dude, where it's like life is about abundance and giving money away and helping others. Like I talk about a lot, but when I'm in financial fear, I'll pull money out of the bank and go hand it to people. And it's crazy how the universe sometimes instantly rewards me. Sometimes it's a little later.
Come on, universe, bro. God.
Yes, God. God rewards you. Money's meant to be given away. So you go, well, what about these rappers and these pro athletes? Because they spend the money on themselves. You're meant to give it away. It's my opinion why Joe Rogan, they can't cancel Rogan because he's helped so many people. He's given it away. He's used his platform. The tree of Rogan is littered with people who are living their dreams because the guy's helped so many people. They've tried to cancel that guy 1,000 times. They can't do it. He's helped so many people. So I think the reason why rappers and pro athletes, because they spend on themselves. They spend it on women. They spend it on everything. They don't spend it. They don't give it away. You got to give it away, dude. I could give you an example. Like I said this before, but I was in Minneapolis and this woman was selling my shirts and she started to, so I handed her like $40 saying thanks for selling the shirts. She's like, thank you. I need this. Someone basically stole my identity and took my car. And then I handed her another $40. I go, I'm sorry about that. And then I walked to the bar, hand to God, dude. I walked from that conversation, walked to the bar. A guy walks up to me and just hands me $100.
For what reason?
Thanks for the show, dude. $100, dude. And it's not always instantaneous like that. But I have friends of mine, a buddy of mine, he's in the conspiracy thing. He was telling me a story about how he had like $100 to his name. He needed to get his car fixed, but his neighbor was upset about how broke he was. He had no money to get food and stuff. So he gave this guy his last $100. The next day on his live stream, someone gave him $1,500, enough to fix his car. I'm telling you, I could give you example after example of how that happens. If you're in financial fear, give it away. And this gets into the inevitability people think that the elites have. That the elites are always going to win. Dude, there are rules to the universe created by God. And the rule is love. Authenticity and love. Helping others. I have always... So, there's a woman who came on my show. Her name's Jessa Reed, right? And she had a bad tweaking problem. And at the time, I was struggling with crystal meth myself. And it took me 10 years to get off it. And she came on my show, and I'm in the middle of my disease. And she tells me this story that she had learned that if you drank your own pee after getting high, you get higher, right? So one time she's like, I'm going to try it. So she tweaks out, drinks her own pee. She gets so high, she tells me, that she sees entities. And these entities start talking to her. And she says they told her the game of life. And the game of life is to play the game. Play the game and help others. That's the key to life. And when she said it to me, I thought, she's crazy. This is the nuts. You're tweaking. And then over time through recovery, I learned that is the key to life. Helping others, giving it away, sacrifice, help. That's it. Help others and the universe rewards you. Again, going back to Joe Rogan, why can't they cancel this guy? Is because he's helped so many people. He's given careers to people by lifting them up.
So you're not giving even a slight chance that he's that Joe is fed?
Listen, I've known Joe Rogan since 1999. I've had 1 million conversations behind closed doors. We have deep talks. He talks about the same shit we talk about all the time. And, maybe I'm too close to it, but nobody tells that dude what to do. I've had 1 million conversations with him. He thinks a lot of things. He might not be in the cloning and all that shit, but he has the same thoughts we have. He plays a really smart game. Joe is a very smart guy. It takes a really intelligent person to keep JRE on the tracks. I could take 1,000 people, put them in that position, and the train would come off the tracks. You have to be very smart to keep that.
Yeah, but he grew gradually. That's the point. Because if let's say he was doing 100 episodes and 10 episodes, and on the 11th episode he would blow up.
Yeah,
let's
but
say Lex Fridman, right? 10th episode he's got
totally different. Lex Fridman, totally different trajectory. Joe Rogan came in the podcast famous. Joe Rogan was famous off of news radio. But what really blew up Joe Rogan was the UFC. Mm-hmm. So Joe Rogan is the face of two things that didn't exist 35 years ago.
UFC and podcasting.
And podcasting. So Joe Rogan works for free on the UFC for a long time. Mm-hmm. Is a black belt in 3 different disciplines of martial arts. Okay? 3 different disciplines. This UFC stuff comes. They actually want his buddy, my good friend, one of my best friends, Eddie Bravo, to basically do play-by-play of what's happening in the thing. Joe loves it so much he offers, or they ask him to be the sideline reporter, and he's so good at it. They're like, get into the booth, get into the analyst stuff. So Joe Rogan's there with the the rise of the UFC. Okay. Then I was there when he discussed starting a podcast. It was in the parking lot of the Comedy Store. He goes, I think I'm going to do it. He'd talked to Tom Green. He'd talked to Opie and Anthony, who were doing podcasting as on top of their radio. Talked to Adam Carolla. They all had conversations. And he's like, I think I'm going to do it. I was there when he was talking about doing it with my good friend Brian Redbam. And the reason his podcast blows up quickly is, one, he's a black belt in talking. Like him and Tim Dillon are the best at remembering every name, every compound, that's my big problem. I'm retarded. Okay. Like I flunked first grade. I can't remember anything. They remember everything. So you have this black belt in talking going into this new medium, and everyone from the UFC followed him over there. And then he's a great commentator. Now, what I will tell you that I think Joe Rogan's really good at is getting out information while simultaneously acting like he doesn't want to hear it. Like the flat earth stuff, right? That it's everywhere because of the Joe Rogan Experience, because him and Eddie Bravo went at it, right? And I don't think Joe Rogan believes in flat earth, but Joe having Eddie on going, Eddie, you're crazy. What are you talking about? But he's talking about it and he's getting it out. And he does that a lot. Now, sometimes Joe can have people on, and this is just me speaking, Joe Rogan has people on that some people don't like. And I think Joe understands the game. And he has to have some people on to make the masses of mankind happy so they don't take him out. You know what I'm saying? Like he has to play a game.
Yeah, but you always have to listen to the other side too.
Yes.
Even if I hate you, I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody.
Me too, dude.
Except pedophiles.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
it. Even if you're a convicted murderer.
My whole theory on sex is I don't give a shit what you do with consenting adults. Mm-hmm. You can do whatever you want. My life is a train wreck. I have to focus on my life and focus on trying to keep the train on the tracks. I don't care what you do with consenting adults, as long as you don't hurt people, and particularly children. Mm-hmm. If you hurt kids, you're dead to me. Like they can't, it's Hollywood's very interesting. You had this whole Me Too movement forever. And, these women were all like, we got to stop male aggression and all that stuff. But they're silent on Pizzagate, and they're silent on what's happening in Europe to 250,000. Do you believe that's real?
UK?
Yeah.
250,000 people. So I'm at the point in my life where if I don't see it, I don't believe it to 100%. I have to see it with my own eyes.
Respect on that.
But even then, they can...
Respect on that. And you bring up a really good... Again, it goes back to that Bill Hicks joke. You look outside, the world's a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. But you have all of this sorcery coming to get you all depressed and scared. And, again, it goes into abundance versus scarcity. There's enough water. There's enough
food.
Think about this, dude. There's this whole push that there's free energy, right? There's free energy, and they're trying to stop anyone from getting a hold of it because they control it. If there's free energy, why do they need our electric for these AI data centers? Why do they need it? It's because our electric bill is so high, it brings on anxiety. It's spiritual, dude. They have free energy. They've had it for hundreds of years, probably through time. They want to have us worried all the time about our electric bills, paying the bills, all that stuff. If you get into why do we pay taxes, dude, if we have a Federal Reserve printing money?
It was proposed 120 years ago as a temporary thing, and now you're still paying taxes.
It's still the same thing. Do you know that you live in California, but do you know you're actually, when you're a U.S. citizen, you're actually a citizen of the District of Columbia? And that's why you have to pay taxes? Because in the actual rule book of taxes, the only people who are legally obligated to pay taxes are citizens of the District of Columbia. That's how they sold it. They go, hey, dude, you're not going to have to pay taxes. Only the people in D.C. are going to have to. But what they didn't tell you is they would make you all a resident of District of Columbia. That's why you have to pay taxes.
Okay, give me percentage wise. What are the chances of us living in a simulation?
100%.
You're sure this is a simulation?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean there's God. Someone created a simulation. God. We live in an energy field. This is an energy realm. Everything is energy. High vibrational, low vibrational. That's it. All of it. And when you know, in recovery, I talk about people coming in and trying to get sober. I tell them, high vibrational behavior brings in high vibrational energy in people. Stability. So everything is energy. So do we live on a flat earth or a ball? I think we live in an energy vortex. Everything is energy, dude.
Okay, so what's the point of waking up every morning then?
Because you're on a journey. Your life is a journey to learn. And God throws obstacles in front of you to learn. And everything is a learning moment, right? And so when things don't go your way, you're not supposed to whine about it. You're supposed to learn why. See, I believe that the universe warns you and then it shows you. So I had a friend of mine whose daughter's baby's daddy got drunk one time, drove on the wrong side of the road and killed 3 people. Okay? So sad, life is ruined, and those people's lives are gone. I guarantee you, dude.
He was warned?
He was warned multiple times by the universe, you shouldn't do this. And the universe will warn you, and then it will show you. It's like I learned this from a Buddhist author. Von Galt came on and said that, and it changed the way I look at everything. You are warned by the universe. Do not do this. And if you continue to do it, it will show you. And sometimes it shows you and you can come back from it, and then sometimes you can't. And if you don't listen to the universe, everything is a teaching moment. And if things don't go your way, the way you want to, it's because it wasn't meant to be. And you're learning from that. So when the big thing comes, you're ready. And this is a big part of their plan. So when people are upset that they turned the Little Mermaid black, and everyone's like, dude, why do you care? Why do you care they turned the mermaid black? It's so stupid. It's just a cartoon. The reason it's a big deal is because they're trying to change the data points so that you don't have the same data as your kids. And if you don't have the same data as your children, you can't teach them how to navigate life. What the elites want, who worship dark entities, is for your children and my children to start at 0 every time. Why their kids get all the knowledge from the past so they can hit the ground running. Do you know that all of the Ivy League schools were started by British opium families?
Makes sense.
And that the Russells created the Skull and Bones so that their children would have a head up in life. And that's why all of your major Master of Mankinds are from Skull and Bones. So they get a head up and they know what's going on. They want their kids to have all the knowledge, and my kids have none. And that's why they're taking down the statues. That's why they're changing our characters from white to black or whatever, man to woman, because they don't want your kids to have the same data points that they have. So you can't teach them anything. So they start at 0 from the beginning. That's the whole purpose of it.
That's why they're taking out Bible from schools.
Bro, I just watched a video the other day. Within the Bible, the wording has changed. They changed the Bible.
They always did that.
Yes. So that you don't get the knowledge. And this is why I'm never going to, I don't even know if we're ever going to be able to find out the true story of everything. Because there's been so much deception over time, right? But I would like to, I ask God all the time, tell me what the truth is. Let me see what the truth is. I want to know what the truth is. Even the demonization of Jews is part of that. Because a lot of people believe the Torah, which was given to Moses, is the the instruction manual of our realm. But now everybody thinks it's dark, that Judaism is this, and that, and it's not. There are aspects of it, which is like, the things in the Talmud are very, very dark. But that's Babylonians getting into. I mean, look at the Vatican. It's just drowning in Satanism.
But I would say this new Pope, he looks at least like a human being. When you look at his picture, it's like, maybe he's not evil.
Well, that's your, no disrespect, but that's your hope.
That's basically what it is. That's my hope that he's not evil.
Right. It's like the question is, do they let somebody in at that position that isn't playing ball?
150 of them vote only?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, hey, dude, maybe should we vote in a nice guy this time?
Who's the nice guy amongst us?
How many popes are there?
Right.
How many popes do you have? There's 3. There's 3 popes. You know that?
No, the official one?
There's the white pope who's the front man.
Okay.
Then there's the black pope who's in charge of the Jesuits. Then there's the gray pope that's in charge of both of them.
The gray pope?
The gray pope is the real power.
I just wonder what they hide in their libraries. That's it. Open up the library.
Then I just had a guest on that blew my mind telling me, oh, no, we were on Conspiracies. So I have 7 podcasts because I'm a crazy person, dude. I can't, if I wasn't here with you, I would just be talking to myself all day, driving around, just trying to figure out.
Bro, I don't exist. You talk to yourself now.
You're
like in that movie, Edward Norton in Fight Club.
Fight Club. Yeah,
there's no Brad Pitt, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a solo show.
Yeah. Everything is just a Truman Show.
What a movie.
But he was talking about that the Vatican is called the Vatican because it was basically built on an ancient burial ground of a goddess named Vatica, and that they did sacrifice there. That they went low enough, they found the skeletons of basically tons of people. And that's why that area was picked. Because it was again getting into Jesus stopping sacrifice. That was the area where they sacrificed children and animals to the pagan god Vatica. And so it's steep in it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's steep into it. So yes, the great Pope is one of the masters of mankind. So what was that Julia Roberts movie on Netflix, Leave the World Behind? Mm-hmm. There was I watch these movies and then some dialogue happens and it just resonates with me.
And Obama was the producer?
Yeah. And there's a moment in there where Julia Roberts talking to the actor, I forget what his name is, the black actor. And they said something in there that really...
Mahershala Ali?
Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's his name?
Mahershala Ali?
We'll just call him Ali. I'm never going to be able to pronounce that name. So she's talking to Ali. And he's talking about this billionaire friend that used to talk to him about all the stuff going on in the world. And then one day he gets a call and the guy's frantic. And the guy basically asks him, who runs the world? And in the dialogue, Ali says, nobody. And that really resonated with me. I felt like that was a message being shot to everybody. Who's running the world? I just think it's a bunch of different factions. And sometimes they work together and sometimes they take each other out. So who's in charge? I think there's a bunch of people in charge, different warring factions. And they work together when it's convenient and mutual interest, and then they take each other out when they're at war.
So guys, if you're demon entities, please pack your bags and leave for our other planets. There are multiple planets. Go there. Leave us alone. It's our planet. God gave it to us. Come on.
Do you believe in space?
How fake it is?
I think it's all plasma, dude. That's why God separated the waters from above from the waters from below. It's all plasma.
Says in the Bible.
We could be in plasma. Do fish know they're in water? Mm-hmm. This could be all a different form of liquid that we don't even know that we're in.
You know what's crazy? So we start calculating our age once we're born, but it's not really true, right? We were alive for 9 months.
Yes.
And we were in that other place. Then we were born, and they say day 1.
Yeah.
No. We're much older.
Yeah, we're 9 months older.
As minimum, yeah.
That's a great... I never thought... My dad said something really crazy when I was a kid. He goes, that's not really your birthday.
Right.
And my mom was like, what is he talking? I go, I don't even know. But that's along the lines where The moment of conception is your birthday.
That's your birthday.
So
Maybe that's the same thing with life. We're gonna, after death, we're gonna go somewhere.
yeah, I believe that one. So I'm working on this funny joke about how, like, again, I don't get, there seems to be some sins, again, you can't come back from. Adultery is one of them, and I'm trying to figure out what the exact definition of that. And it seems to be you should not fornicate with a married person. That seems to be one of the sins. But so I have a lot of near-death experience people come on. Have you ever talked to anybody like that?
Never.
That have died and talked about their experiences after, and then they came back. And everyone, each experience is different. But the one common theme is that they felt everything they did wrong against people. They felt every moment of that.
It's like what they were showing the movie?
Like when they did their life review, they felt everything they ever did to people. But it's never about what weird shit you did sexually. Nobody's like, dude, your Pornhub search engine is like really, your Pornhub search history is really weird, you know? It's never that. It's like, did you hurt people? That seems to be it to me. And that seems to be what this realm is like. Again, going back to, are you helping people or are you hurting people? And it goes back to this whole notion that these elites can play above the rules of the universe, which is love. And I say this all the time, try to throw a party and see if it goes the way you wanted it to go. Usually the wheels fall off and you're like, when it's over, you're like, thank God that didn't go the way I wanted to, but at least it got done. That's like trying to run the world. You can make all these plans, but when it trickles down to the rest of us, good luck. And it seems that human beings have only so far they will go, which is common sense. But once you go past that, it seems they go, no. Like in Mexico, they want to do digital IDs. And they just killed the bill because the population was no. And that's why they divided us so much. Because if we actually come together, they wouldn't be able to do anything. It's like, why aren't there boots on the ground in Iran if that's a real war? Why? Because no one in America wants that war. They can do little things, but they can't do big things. They can do the micro, not the macro. And why haven't we, they've been wanting this war forever. Why didn't they go in and do it? Because America doesn't want war anymore. And they can only go so far. It's like most people be like, whatever you do with consenting adults, I don't care. Just leave the kids alone. So when they get into, trans, dressed like street hookers, going to read to kids, that's too far. Men going into women's bathrooms, that's too far. We're not cool with that. We don't give you, if you want to live your life, live your life. Nobody cares. That's your journey and your relationship with God, whatever that may be. But when you start to affect other people's stuff, that's when we go too far. It's too much. And people are, and we have all the power. That's what people don't realize. There's a few of them and there's all of us. And if we'd stop fighting with each other over stupid shit that isn't real, race, gender, sexuality, all these cultural movements are steep in Satanism. You know, like, have you ever seen the video of the professor debating his entire class on queer theory?
No.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry about that. Queer theory?
No.
Oh, it's the best video ever. And this professor's going one on everyone. And he proves to them that queer theory is founded in pedophilia. All the forefathers, four women, whatever you want to call them, that push queer theory, all advocated for pedophilia, right? So then we get into these things where, like, you have movements, right? You have religions, and then you have the extreme version of these things, right? It's like, I don't have a problem with gay people. I have a lot of gay friends. I don't, again, live your life.
Me too.
But the weaponized version of that is queer theory, right? Love Jews. My girlfriend's Jewish. Love Jews. The weaponized version of that is Zionism, right? Islam. The weaponized version of that is Wahhabism, right? That's what we're talking about. And so you got to understand that these sects of these movements have been completely controlled and created and funded and armed by these elites to cause chaos. And what happens is, because we're simple folk, we all defend the craziest of us, because we take it as personal instead of going, I don't know that dude. Like, I'm Armenian. Imagine me saying that Armenians are crazy people. Like, I look ridiculous. Armenians we're shady people. We do shady shit. Imagine someone saying that we don't do that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But there are groups that refuse to admit they have wild people in their groups, and they're tribal, and they put the wagons around and they defend their own. And I think that does a lot more damage than good. It's like, it's nuance. It's judge people on an individual basis.
I agree with you 100%.
And that's my opinion, dude. So
Sam, the last question on the podcast is always the same. Let's have two assumptions with you. Assumption number one is the president of the US is the most powerful human being on planet Earth.
no.
That's an assumption. Assumption number two is you become one. You become the president of the US. Once you do so, you have all those secret agencies at your disposal. CIA, FBI, NSA, and etc. They come to you and say, congratulations, Sam, you're the president now. We as secret service, secret agencies, we know all the answers in the world, right? You ask us a question, we give you an honest answer. What would be your first question?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. Who is behind all these impact events?
Okay, let's say they give you an answer, we are.
Yeah.
Would you expose it to the public as a president?
Me, Sam, today? Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, do I want to die? Yeah, I'd do it. I would put it out there. I mean, I don't fear death.
Don't you think it would cause chaos?
Well, we need the chaos. Listen, dude, I'm telling you this. I got called an accelerationist the other day, and part of me is like, yeah, let's crank this up. Let's get it all out. It's got to get worse before it gets better. We're too comfortable in this country. As long as you have fat homeless people with iPhones, you're never going to have change, ever. And it's it's the frog in the pot. They're just going to keep turning it up, but we're not going to do anything till it's too late. And then you're going to wake up. It's like with COVID. All these people are getting cancer. It's too late, man. It's like you don't want to listen to people. It's got to get uncomfortable before it gets better. I would prefer we go back to the 80s. I would like to take a lot of the social beliefs we have today, would live and let learn, bring it back to the 80s when everyone was making money and having a good time.
No one was fat.
No one was fat. Like, I'm so sick and tired of this narrative that Americans are fat, lazy people. We're working more than we ever have.
I agree with you.
And the food they're giving us is poison. Right. The elites look at you like you're cattle. They look at us, our kids, our family, as cattle. That's why they're poisoning our food. That's why they're poisoning our air. And that's why they're poisoning our culture. Because they think we're cattle. And until you come to grips with that, you can be a nice person all you want. Just know that the psychopaths never sleep. While you're trying to live your life and take care of your family, they are unrelenting.
That fucker is happy. We got to do something about
100.
He's healthy, bro.
Tim Dillon brought it up about the 80s and how it was different. And I've been saying this for a while. If they just gave us fun stuff and cool stuff, if they gave us so we could buy houses and live a life and raise our family, they could probably give us a surveillance system. No one would care. If you gave us everything we wanted, honesty, love, respect, money, so we could pass it on our kids.
No scarcity.
Yeah, most people wouldn't care.
Have you ever been to Irvine, California?
Where?
Irvine.
Yeah.
We've been to Irvine yesterday. Bro, it's like America in the 80s.
Yeah.
Clean, beautiful, lots of trees, greenery, safe. This is how LA should
Have you
look
been
like.
to Glendale? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
They don't put up with shit out there. Dude, Armos don't mess
don't
around, dude. Hey, dog, you're homeless. Go to Burbank. Not here, okay? And it's because, I mean, we live in a city. The problem with Los Angeles is that we're overdosing. We're ODing on trust fund kids. There's too many children here. There's too many adults who are still children who grew up without having a concern in the world. And when you're born into the nicest hospitals, live in the nicest gated communities, go to the nicest private schools, get juiced into the nicest college, get internships and jobs at the best gigs, the best jobs out there, go to the nicest restaurants, can afford everything, you have no purpose. And we as human beings need purpose. We need a reason to wake up in the morning. I wake up in the morning, I have to take care of my family. I have to feed my family. I have to do that. Okay?
That's why I'm surprised Joe is still doing it, because he was handed $200 million 5 years ago or 6 years ago, and he's still doing it.
I think he just loves it. I think he
just
loves
the
having
game.
conversations. Right. And, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm incapable of saying mean shit about Joe Rogan because he's helped me so much in my life. If it wasn't for him, Mitzi Shore, my parents, you wouldn't even be talking to me. So I'm very thankful for him. And, he gets so much shit on the internet. I take it kind of personal. So I'm very sensitive about that stuff. So I understand that from an outside, people could be like, hey, what's going on with this? But again, I text the guy, we text all the time. He believes a lot of the same stuff we believe. And he's a good guy, dude, And I think he's a little bit more open-minded than some people want to believe, But if you take a look at Los Angeles, there's too many trust fund kids, private school kids that don't have purpose. When you don't have to worry about your food, shelter, clothing, your mind drifts and you become Don Quixote and you start fighting windmills thinking they're monsters. And, so you and I do a conspiracy podcast. Would you say your podcast is a conspiracy podcast?
30%.
Okay. The real conspiracy theorists, the real ones, are the ones who believe that the country is racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic. They believe that we are all conspiring together to hold down certain groups of people. That's a real conspiracy. You and I believe stuff that there is tangible proof of. Mm-hmm. The data doesn't show anything that these people want to believe. They hate, it's so funny, they all want socialism while their grandfathers made a killing in capitalism. And they want socialism in this country while Latin America is turning red and getting rid of socialism. And Cuba, the Communist Party, voted to open markets for private ownership and private businesses. So the other countries, so they go, well, those aren't real socialism. Why? Well, because the masters of mankind are never going to let that happen. So why do you think they would let it happen here? And at the end of the day, it's so funny that these people who hate authority, but somehow believe hook, line, and sinker the pharmaceutical companies, okay? And the government, they're so angry at January 6th, which was a giant intelligence operation, along with the kidnapping of the Michigan governor. Those were all psyops to bring in domestic terrorism. They want domestic terrorism so that they can bring in martial law. This is all about bringing in martial law. All this chaos you have where these judges keep releasing these violent prisoners, they want you to feel helpless. Mm-hmm. So they get so bad that we demand martial law. And once they have martial law, say goodbye to your Constitution. All your constitutional rights go out. Screw no-hide laws. Screw Sharia law. It's constitutional law. That's what we should be fighting for right now, okay? But they want socialism because they've had it so good they feel bad about themselves. It's the same thing the Unabomber said, and it's the same thing Malcolm X said. Progressive white people are the most dangerous animal on the planet because they live comfortably and they're just fantasizing. And they actually don't want to help you. They actually feel bad for you. They look down on you. They feel like, have you ever seen that video where someone went to Berkeley and they asked, do you think black people can get an ID? And they're like, no, they can't get an ID. They don't have access to the internet and they don't have access to getting an ID. And then they go to Brooklyn and they're talking to black people and they're like, do you have an ID? They're like, yeah, I have an ID right here. Do you have access to the internet? Yeah, I have a phone.
That's ridiculous. You remember the New York governor saying black people haven't even seen a computer or something?
Yeah, 100%.
The fuck she's talking about?
And how about Gavin Newsom? Like, I'm like you. I don't read. I'm like you. I had a ridiculously bad. I mean, dude, that's because the Unabomber, Malcolm X are right.
Blacks.
They
Not
hate
us.
They hate, and now the whole thing is they're ditching black people for Muslims, right? And they're like, now they're welcoming the Muslims. And I have a lot of Muslim friends. I love Muslims. I have no problems with Muslims. I think they're just like every group, that the extremists of their group have been weaponized to cause chaos. And the progressive left is the ISIS of America, a small extremist group that has been weaponized and funded by the elites to cause chaos in America.
What about the progressive right or far right, let's say?
Same thing. Like if you just look at Trump, you just think everything he does is like manna from heaven. You're just completely been manipulated. Completely manipulated. If you literally, dude, I'm politically atheist and I'm pretty much an anarchist. Until you get rid of mail-in ballots, I'm never going to vote in another election again. You will never have an honest election as long as you have mail-in ballots.
But even if you don't, it doesn't matter because no one voted for Kamala Harris to be on the ballots. Nobody.
No, you're totally right about that.
They don't care.
They don't care. They keep, democracy's at stake. You're like, dude, they didn't let you vote on your Democratic nominee.
Right.
And dude, then you can get even deeper, dude, to the fact that was that done on purpose to give Trump an easy victory? And then you go into, because we saw that with Obama. When Obama came in, Obama is the last of the two-party. His first term was the last time I voted for either of the parties in the presidential election. I will never vote for either of these parties again. But Obama's first term was the last time because everyone hated the Republicans because of the Iraq war. So we're like, here's this charismatic black guy coming in, great speaker after we had George Bush, like, fool me once, shame on you, shame on, just messing up everything. And here comes this charismatic guy. And the world, the country is over white old neocons. And who do they run against Obama? John McCain.
John McCain.
The mascot for old white neocons. Mm-hmm. They ran everybody to him. So now I'm starting to think that they did that with Hillary too. That's why they kneecapped Bernie Sanders and put Hillary in to run everybody to Trump. And they needed Joe Biden in to kick off the Ukrainian war. That's why they need George Bush in over Al Gore, because they knew 9/11 was coming. They need Dick Cheney in the White House. So now we go to Kamala Harris. They totally ran her to get Trump in again. If you had an election today, yeah, 100%, dude.
Bro, these are the legs of an 80-year-old?
There were like 9 to 10 different Bidens.
I wish I have this physique at 82 or what?
Yeah, dude.
Look at the legs.
Yeah, dude. So you had Nephilim Biden, who's like 7 foot. Then you had Black Biden. You remember Black Biden, where he had a mask on and under here you could see black skin? Black Biden.
That's the one that was raised in a black church.
Yeah, dude. What was the name of the guy? So you got Corn Pop. Maybe that was Corn Pop. Yeah. So it's all an illusion. So when you say to me, "What's real?" that resonates with me. So I'm not pushing back on. I'm like, that totally could. I mean, 100% that all of this could be 100% bullshit, dude.
I was told by our mutual buddy Sean Hibler that I'm gonna get my cojones cut off it if I don't touch the topic of your mutual thing, World War debate.
Oh, you know
when
Hibler?
Are you doing the second one?
Right now, it's tentatively scheduled for September 12th in Nashville. We're still working out the details, but the first World War debate got 80 million views across all platforms. Mm-hmm. So we're very excited about it. It's a big deal. We got a lot of great stuff going on, and we're creating something out of nothing, and people are excited for it, man. And I think we're going to give people what they want, which is honest, real conversations, and that's kind of our goal, man. And I'm very excited about it. It's a blessing to be working with the Enlightened Network, and Sean and Nate and David Lugo. So it's a blessing, dude. So, and if you ever want to come out and hang out, come out and enjoy the show, dude. You come as my guest.
I appreciate it. 2 weeks prior to the first event that you did, I said that red hair girl is going to be demolished by Anna Kasparian. And she was.
No,
Why did she go?
Because she is, she's really good on the internet. But what people don't understand, and I learned this too, debating is a whole different animal, dude. And I learned gained so much respect for debaters. Like, I'm a stand-up comic. I shred hecklers. Like, I've been murking hecklers since the beginning. I grew up doing that stuff. But debating is a whole different animal. Like, you know, Andrew Wilson used to say, I need 2 weeks to prepare for a debate. And I go, no, you don't. Just show. And then I watch the debates. I go, oh, man, you got to be able to cite court cases, bills, history. Like, dude, it's what I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a debater.
You got to be sharp as Biden.
You got to be sharp. And then you got to bring it. And, you know, what's her face? What was her name, dude?
Pearl Davis?
Yeah, Pearl Davis. God bless her. We're so thankful. She'll always have a place in our heart. And she's always welcome back. And we really thank her for coming on. But I think she learned something that day, and I think you're going to see her come back just a total savage. Like, she's starting to do these debates now, getting out of her comfort zone. It's a whole different thing, man.
Yeah, she froze a couple of times.
I wish I could have been in her ear and be like, just insult her. Just say something insulting. Just say something insulting to her, you know. And that's what they wanted. But listen, you know, I've had my, you know, Anna Kasparian has been on a very interesting journey. And, you know, I would be lying to you if I said I was really upset with her being Armenian on a show called The Young Turks. I had a real issue with that because my ancestors and her were slaughtered by Turks. And she may not have known that when she joined the show. You'd be amazed at how many Armenians don't know about the Young Turks. Okay? But, man, she's been on a real journey, and I really respect where she is right now. And I'm honored that she did our first show. She's a big part of its success, a big, big part. And now she's found God. She used to be an atheist. She's not an atheist anymore. And it's like, eventually...
Every time people say, I found God, please be more specific. Jesus or someone else? Because it's not Jesus, bro, then God, money can be your God.
Buddy.
Or pussy can be
That's
your
the
God.
most real shit said on this show the whole time. Sorry to swear, dude.
Bro, it's like 150 minutes in.
It's the most real thing said. I've said this before. And I'm even talking about all organized religion, including Christianity and Catholicism. It is Jesus or get out.
Right.
And so you have this faction on the internet trying to convince you Jesus wasn't real or Jesus was this. And I go, I don't know anything about that, but I will tell you, the more I get closer to Jesus, the happier I am in my life.
Amen.
Dude, I start vibrating on a higher level. You could tell me anything you want. All I know is that understanding this person and what he did makes me happier. So I'm not going to get it. You could say whatever you want. I don't care. It's not going to change. This guy was sent down by God to change the game and to stop sacrifice and to stop sacrifice, to stop worshiping of paganism and idolatry, worshiping idols. And everything that he said is right.
Corruption, elites, everything that we're fighting against, he was fighting against 2,000 years ago.
You know, and these sins, it's like, oh, these sins. To me, these are just instructions on how to stay away from low vibrational activity, dude. And it's like, all these things are sins. If you followed those, your life would vibrate on such a higher level. Don't bang your best friend's wife. Don't steal. Don't hurt people. Don't lie. You know, I mean, I say it all the time. I hate lying, but sometimes I gotta do it just so my girlfriend doesn't fight with me. Okay, I'll tell her what she wants to hear.
You're right, honey. You're definitely right.
Yeah. I wasn't doing anything. No, dude. I was just out there buying you a birthday gift. You know, so you do your best to follow those rules, and I guarantee your life will higher vibrational, helping others, give it away. Give away wealth, give away money. It will come back to you tenfold. I've seen it happen in my life all the time. It is Jesus to me or get out. I don't like any of this. I think there's so much in organized religion that is control. And it's like literally get rid of all of it down to the teachings of Jesus.
Right.
That's
the
it.
red letters.
And when I get to where I want to go, I'm probably going to quit comedy and I'm going to celebrate the Sabbath. I'm going to take Friday to Saturday off. I'm just trying to get to that point in my life where I can do that. And I'm going to do it, man, because that's what God says. You got to have a day of rest, man. And I'm doing my best. And, you know, I've been told over and over again, God realizes when you're trying to better yourself, and that's what he wants. And so I've come from some very dark stuff in the past. I was living in my vices, very low vibrational. You know, there's just stuff, I mean, very dark, and like never hurting anybody. Like, put that out. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. But just like adult films and just hookup culture and drugs, you know, alcohol, drugs are very demonic. They call alcohol spirits. You know, there's a reason for that, okay? I you know, I've been in the rooms of recovery. I watch people come in on trying to get off speed and weed, okay? This new weed isn't your grandpa's hippie weed. This stuff is like, got dark arts in it, man. And they come in seeming possessed. And it's like, get it. So I was into all that, dude. And now I have none of that in my life. And I'm currently not watching adult films anymore.
You know what's interesting with porn? Once you get rid of it, you realize how it was controlling you.
Dude, porn is a humiliation ritual.
For women.
Yes. And
they're
like,
all the feminists.
Yeah, well,
they call it freedom,
and they think it's freedom. So you have this like generation now of these new of the new age adult film stars, and they're starting to age out, and they realize how many doors they close in their life, right. And the power of vagina is so powerful that these girls don't want to listen to anybody. And we're like you're 20, you don't know what it's like to be 40, you don't know what it's like to be 50. I do. You're closing doors in your future, and you don't understand it. And it's very interesting because, like, you listen to women who are like the highest, the demographic with the highest level of anxiety, mental illness, and depression is women, particularly progressive women in their 40s. And you're like, why is that an interesting age? Because that's right after the quote unquote wall, right? When women lose their fertility. But we lose our athleticism. Men lose their athleticism, okay? And what we always hear women go, you don't understand, when you're older woman, you're invisible in society. I go, no, you're not. You're not invisible. You just become like everybody else. And you have to earn everything you get. People are no longer handing you stuff because they want to get down your pants. And it's not that you're not hot or attractive, but Michael Jordan probably could light both of us up in basketball right now. But he can't beat any of those guys. And well, Michael Jordan may be able, but most athletes in their 50s and 60s can't compete against a 20-year-old pro athlete. They're at their athletic peak. Men lose their athleticism. Women lose their fertility, and they don't want to listen. Because I remember when I was really young, my girlfriend's boyfriend was he was older then. I think he was like in his 40s when I was in college. And then I thought that was so old, right? And he's like, you don't understand, the party doesn't last forever. I'm like, whatever, dude. The party's going to last forever, you know? And then I realized, oh my God, he was right. And you can't tell young girls this because it's popping so much for them. They don't realize that it's just going to go away. And not only, but you kind of want it to go away. You're kind of over it at that point. But you've closed so much doors in your future that you're going to have to deal with those consequences, and they can't listen to it because they're popping right now. It's like when there's nothing more powerful than a gorgeous young girl. They have the world by the balls, and they don't want to listen to anybody because they're so powerful. And I'll end with this, is that the propaganda is so strong. How old are you?
38.
30. Oh, you're a puppy. Listen, I'm telling you, you're going to love your 40s, dude. Like, I had a wild 20s and a wild 30s. My favorite decade so far was my 40s. It was the best time of my life. And I lived a real crazy life in my 20s and 30s, but I would never give up anything for my 40s. It was the best time of my life. It was the best time, you know, but it's like, I don't know where I was going with that. I do that all the time, dude. You know, but the point is that, you know, just think about how powerful the propaganda is right now, dude. I'm 53 years old. I'm looking at 20-year-old men and women. 20-year-old women hate children, hate babies. And 20-year-old men don't want to get laid. If I would have told you that 10, 15 years ago, you'd be like, dude, what bizarre world do you live in? 2026? Like, that's the world we live in. I'd be on stage and I'd be like, see a 20-year-old guy go, how old are you? 24? You trying to get laid? Nope. I'm like, what? That's why I woke up in the morning.
Yeah, why did you with your dick?
Yeah.
It's always like a boner.
Yeah, dude.
Since you're 14.
That was my goal in life.
Right.
Get more money so I get laid more.
Right.
Now they don't care. That's how powerful the propaganda and the chemicals in our food and our air and our water have done to us, that we are overriding our biological drives.
So I would not propagate, let's say, having sex with each woman that you meet, but find a wife, a hot wife, and have sex with her every freaking day.
It's easier that way, dude. I mean, like...
But there are sexless marriages.
There are. That's why also, dude, like every day there's a new scandal of a man cheating on his wife, and then there's a scandal about a woman cheating on her husband, and the energy of both are totally different. Like, they kill the guy, and then the girl's like, oh man, he wasn't giving her what she needed. You know why? Because women make the rules of society and men make the rules of business. Okay? It's like hunting and gathering. Men will go out and hunt while women sat at the village, gossiping. You know, they're making the rules of the village. Men, what's going to take to kill the buffalo to bring home food? That's the rules of business. Political correctness is this attempt to take the rules of the village, the rules of society, and put it into the rules of business, right? And it's not working. It fails because business is cutthroat. And it's either you're succeeding and winning and making money, or you're dying. And this is political correctness, bringing in feelings to business. And business doesn't have time for feelings. Either you're succeeding or you're shutting down. And that's even with this AI shit. They're like, bring in AI. AI is costing more than workers. Mm-hmm. And dude, it's telling us that the USA is out of the World Cup. And I think AI is a giant shadow in the cave. And it's the same thing with nuclear war bombs. I don't believe in nuclear bombs. I think big bombs go boom. But I'm not saying they couldn't have a crazy ass bomb out there. But what we're sold on in World War II isn't real. They firebombed Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Why did the Japanese move right in? If, we hear these guys like, dude, on Mars, there was a nuclear war and there's still radiation. Really? That's crazy, because in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, they moved right back in.
Do you remember Fukushima in 2011?
Yeah.
Because of the earthquake? Living in Fukushima.
Did you ever see the guy that built all the nuclear reactors in America eating uranium? Mm-hmm. Dude, it's not what they tell. I'm not saying there's not radiation.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Okay? But what they sold us on uranium isn't real.
Chernobyl.
Is it, dude, there's like animals and plants walking around this radioactive place where we got to wear hazmat suits. I'm just telling you, dude, it's all shadow in the cave. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier, how much of this is real.
Well, what real is subscribing to this channel, to
Please
Sam's
do.
channel.
You have a great show. I hope that was okay, dude.
I appreciate you coming, bro. God bless you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
From the bottom of my heart, I would love to say thank you for watching this entire episode till the very end. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and click here or here and watch another great episode. God bless you.